Universal, tryna meditate. Downloading this black matter through non-ether. Condensing that energy, alchemizing my frequency. If you don't open your mind, then your head will break. I don't fuck with molasses, cause I don't sugarcoat. Baphomet is my lil homie, cause I'm a bigger goat. I'm playing with the bars, you would think that I'm selling soap. They think that change only happen when a nigga vote. I'ma keep on shining this light, cause I see I give them hope. Riding primordial waves on a galactic boat. I'm charging up, frequency rising, I'm gaining volts. I say I'm God, now people thinking that I'm in a cult. The cyclops will make your mind pop. My energy's magnetic pull can make the time stop. I'm on their head, elevating like a high top. Eating good, plant-based, so free the lifestyle. I swear to God, it's that Fibonacci flow. It's that fire soul flame, hit 'em, drop and roll. Seeing through the veil in plain sight, they hide the codes. I'm on that fuck the system shit and they can't stop the show. Manipulating that energy, I've been shifting. Gotta close your eyes and listen to your intuition. Elevating with Mother Nature, she been assisting. Channeling these thoughts, I really been like I went fishing. Oh wow, it's going down, yeah, you know what's up. I'm a slim nigga, but my mind, I got it swole as fuck. Don't hold him down, we ain't drowning niggas, I hold him up. Synchronizing the light within me, I hope you get in touch. God, yeah, this ain't no side. Speaking the truth, vibration never lie. I know I'm a guy, yeah, this ain't no facade. Speaking the truth, vibration never lie. I know I'm a guy, yeah, this ain't no facade. This that God shit, align it with your conscience. I don't do nonsense, I ain't got time for it. I keep my mind soaring, a different type of light source. Change your mindset, yeah, that's that mind flip. Light switch going off and then we time shift. Dimension traveling, no, I'm a different kind, yeah. Okay, get up on tempo, life so simple. Chasing the info, ride with kinfolk to the stove. If it's a problem, I got the knowledge with the extendo. Just keep it 100, I don't play games, this ain't Nintendo, okay. I got a lot to say and I'ma say it to your face. We talking about real freedom, I don't care about your J's. Get up on this vibration, this is a different type of rain. Too much hating in this world, they just trying to separate. I'm just trying to build, I'm just trying to relate. Make some changes, don't get stuck in your ways. Tapped into the water and its memory. Flowing with the wave like hoes, give me energy. Sometimes you gotta rock solo to gain that inner peace. Protect your energy, a lot of people be trying to leech. I know I'm a guy, yeah, this ain't no facade. Speaking the truth, vibration never lie. I know I'm a guy, yeah, this ain't no facade. Speaking the truth, vibration never lie. I know I'm a guy, yeah, this ain't no facade.
Yup.
Yo.
I had to switch it up one time for the one time. What's good with it?
Man, I was vibing out to that thing. Hey, that's that slap, man. Let me open up and then we gotta plug that. That.
Right.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Free Your Mind podcast, where you can come free your mind and help others free theirs. I'm and your co-host, I go by the name of Woon, and I'm all about balance like December and June was popping.
Yes, sir.
Is it December, June?
The hell it is.
Okay, so
that's the 6, you feel me? The halves and the halves, you know what I'm saying? I go by the name of Selfmade, the other co-host, and you got to tap in with self to know thyself always. But yeah, man, I had to, start it off like that one time for the one time. It was in the archives, it was just sitting in the archives. I'm like, man, let me drop this thing real quick.
Yeah, man, that thing is so smooth, man, and people don't know that you be making your own beats, man. So that beat was crazy. The vibe is crazy. I personally like the
appreciate it.
video that you get to see yourself up in.
Right, trying to vibe out and shit. You know what I
That's
mean?
a fact.
It was very
Love it. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
so
no, we gotta
I know.
man, I'm good, bro. I'm good. You know, another day. Looking forward to this show, man. We got a lot of people in here, man.
Woo!
We
Family.
got a lot of people in here. Right. Hold on, I'm gonna start bringing them in. Giving them the intros.
Yeah, definitely bring them in.
Whoa.
Peace, peace, peace.
All right. We got everybody? Yep. We good.
We're here.
Peace
I
to the
guess,
panel. Peace to the panel. What's going on?
Look to y'all. Y'all looking beautiful and cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, y'all. That's my down south accent. Y'all looking beautiful. Beautiful people. Y'all cool. Oh yeah. Come on in. What's up?
Yeah, get Lala in the building.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. Love, love, love that you guys showed up. I'll be back.
Shout out to the chat. They starting to fill in here. Antoine.
Oh. Yeah.
Tamisha. Peace to
Meet
the
you.
chat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What's
she
up?
in there.
Okay. Definitely. So I guess if you guys want to start, because I definitely want to give a proper introduction. And I don't know if everybody's screen look the same, but we could really Crystal, if you guys want to introduce yourself to the whoever's watching. It might be 3 people watching, so you know, might be good. All right, we got to.
I'm not sure.
Your mic. We got to hear your mic. Usually when that happens, you might have to go out and then come.
Yeah.
I'll text her. Oh, she got it.
Okay, cool.
She can do it.
All right,
Kareem was
Kareem.
popping.
We got
Hey, what's going on with you?
What's good? Peace, peace, peace.
Yes, sir. Peace. Good to be in the building today.
Yes, sir. Hey, and I super appreciate you for pulling up, Kareem. You
I
like
mean,
one of our. Oh no, go ahead. My bad.
No, I was saying, you had mentioned to come on here. So anytime you give me an invitation, I'm always come on here. You know what I mean?
Super salute. I feel that. I appreciate that. You are officially and have been officially Free Your Mind Podcast alumni before we even had the podcast, rocking with us.
That's what's up.
All
Right,
love for the
right.
show.
From the jump, man. From the jump.
Way better.
All right, so next in line is everybody's mics on? Is everybody good?
Yeah, I was just about to say, hopefully everybody mic's on.
Yes, sir.
My
Yeah.
mic on. I think I wanted to hear the excitement.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
we got her.
Can y'all hear us?
Yeah, you guys got next. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, what's up, y'all?
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Peace,
Good.
peace.
Chilling. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, if y'all want to give out your dance and everything like that, it's up. Because I see it. Comey or Captain Capricorn. I don't want to mess it up, so I'll just let y'all.
I know. I was.
So I'm Nomi. My
Nomi.
name's Naomi, but I do go by Nomi and
Sienna, but the Captain Capricorn.
Capricorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Can I say something about the little tiny one in the corner? That is my baby sister, but I call her my firstborn, you guys.
Okay.
You guys see her on my story, exactly who that is. So, baby sister, my firstborn
I mean,
child.
I recognize
Which one do
Ree
you
and
firstborn
Crystal.
child?
Love.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Little sister.
Yeah, you good.
Firstborn. She basically my mom, my second mom. So yeah.
Oh no, I'm gonna call you that all night. I was just asking, so I'll make sure that we.
That's gonna be the name, huh?
Yeah.
That's the day. It's up. We got cousin in the building. Both the cousins. What's up, the Browns?
The
Hi,
Browns.
my name is Shay. This is Bree. This is my wife. We've been married now for 3 years, and we've been together for 5. So, yes,
That's
we're
dope.
here in the building at my cousin's request.
Appreciate that.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Okay, go ahead.
So then we got Larry. What's popping, Larry?
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Peace, peace.
L3 is also my fam right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
call
I
you
got
Monkey
all
family in
the
the
right little
building.
section. You feel me?
That is my new out there balling on him in the Navy, though. I see you.
Stop. I'm about to get out. Stop it.
L3 is lit.
Yes, sir.
All right, last but not least.
Read.
Hey, I'm Reed. I'm Reed. I'm Crystal. What it do? And we just
Hey.
celebrated our 5th year anniversary, and we've been together for 8 years.
Oh
Awesome.
my god.
Congratulations.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Lit,
Yeah.
litty, lit.
So
Right,
married
right.
for 5, together for 8.
I'm so sorry, Naomi. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying. So you all have been together for 8, married for 5.
Yeah. Yes.
What's y'all's key? What's y'all's secret?
Whooping her ass when she get out of it. No. Don't play. I say prayer and communication.
Okay, I love that.
Real easy, real easy.
Communication is key. Yeah.
Right.
You definitely got to pray, because there's times where you guys can't communicate. So get out each other's way for a second, and then come back and communicate.
Yeah. Big
I
gap.
like
for
it.
sure. So everybody feeling good? Everybody looking good? Y'all feeling good?
Of course.
I'm actually watching the Golden State and Boston game, so kind of like here and there.
Oh, that.
Hey,
Right.
hey, Lala, I got love for you because my squad's on.
She got the jersey on and everything. Right.
Golden State all day, baby.
Mm-hmm. So shoot. Same-sex relationships. We had a lot of what how did this come about, Woon? Give me the backstory.
Well, it definitely was not transpired by no Pride Month. I'm gonna let everybody know that right now.
Oh, okay.
But it is just happened to line up like that. But I believe I think it was the daughter, the firstborn daughter. All night, Sienna. I'm gonna just. I think we was talking to the firstborn about something, and then I think we were just like
her transition that she's.
Oh, exactly. That's what it was. We want to hear her story about her transition, and so she just said, "Yeah, it's up." So from there, we was just like, "Fuck it, send them out."
Okay.
And so and then my man Kareem, he just now started his podcast too. So definitely want to plug that in as well. And he had a lot of questions. I guess you want to get a certain level of understanding when it comes down to same-sex relationships. So what better to do than to have people in same-sex relationships? Like, you know what I mean? So it's
right. Okay. I heard you say transition.
Yes.
Oh, hold on. Before y'all start.
Yeah, that was a word that stuck out to my ears as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Say, who was that?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
I said before we start, I want to give you guys a round of applause, a hand, because in our community, especially young brothers like you, there's not a lot of understanding. There's a lot of misunderstanding. And so for young kings like y'all to do what you're doing, and I know it just so happens fell on Pride Month, but to do that, man, that shows a lot of growth, which gives me hope for, you kings.
Yeah.
Trying to learn and understand, and not just not listening to the dogma. So I want to give you guys mad props for that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all love. We all living. We all share the same space.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's all love. We appreciate y'all for coming on. That's what I was gonna say. I'm so sorry. Let me rewind. I like to thank everybody for coming on, because again, if I did not say it, this is our first show that has same-sex couples on there. So this is I'm about this, like, you know what I mean? And you guys are really, you know what I mean? Yeah, this is experience for all of us. So I appreciate it highly. So if you want to get back to the firstborn, about the transition, and then I guess we can go.
Transition, yeah.
From top to
Can
bottom.
I say this because a lot of people who are on the panel are asking how to share this actual podcast. So if you guys can throw that out there to them as well, because I think they want to share it on their Sienna. I know Sienna texted me for sure. I think Crystal, you texted me earlier asking how you can share it so that their viewers can watch it. So
are you guys on Facebook?
Yeah, our daughter is on here, so
yeah.
So on Woon's page and on my page, it's actually streaming live right now. So you should be able to go and just share it straight off of Facebook, or if you're on YouTube,
or if you're on the YouTube channel,
link.
definitely.
Let me throw the link in there.
Okay, I see it.
you want some of that?
Just so it's there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, can you put me real quick? Y'all know it's Gemini season still, so we're doing it 2 times with Tupac. I don't care who don't like Tupac. We're gonna kick you off. I'm not gonna.
Hey, enjoy it while it lasts, man. Enjoy it while it lasts. It's on its way out of here.
You a Gemini too, Woon?
Hey, slow down. We got the pick of the year. That's what I got.
Georgia?
Can I say something, you guys? It was my first book. Just to kind of touch on, how we got into the subject that, is going on tonight. I've seen my baby sister doing a lot of like spiritual transitioning. That's non-traditional to how we actually grew up. So I wanted to, my first thing was to be able to have her come in and just kind of talk about her journey that she's on.
Okay.
Spiritually, right? But at the same time, excuse me, everything just kind of aligned. So I figured, her and all the other people that I know that are on panel, as well as the people that I don't know, can come on and just kind of give their insight as to where they're at, where they were, and whatever else that they want to put out there, just for enlightenment or educational purposes. So
That sounds so.
Yeah, definitely.
What's up? And then while I'm eating this, do what you just did.
For sure.
You just that eloquently.
Do you want to switch?
Oh no,
okay.
Hey, y'all don't mind me eating this shit, right? I'm not gonna hold you. I've been waiting to eat some ribs. I'm gonna knock some shit down right now. Go and hold y'all.
No, you good.
So with that, I know, I have to throw you guys out there as well, Crystal and Ree. Look at Mama Ree. I see you. I miss you guys so much.
I miss you too.
I know, factually that Ree and Crystal, you have your own spiritual journey as well. I just kind of wanted to see how that plays a role as well in, your orientation. Equally with my baby sis, my firstborn, journey that she's going on. L3, I don't know. Do you practice religion or anything spiritual? Or did that kind of stop? L3?
Me?
I don't know. You hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know if you're
I
practicing religion or spirituality or anything.
Spirituality, a definite. Religion, I kind of fell off. Not that I'm not religious, because I am. I just am bad about keeping in practice. Because I was raised Christian on my dad's side and Buddhist on my mom's side. So
that's interesting.
A lot to navigate.
L3 is Indonesian, like Bali.
Like Bali.
What's everybody's
popular place in Indonesia, right?
Yeah.
What's everybody's spiritual background?
I was raised Christian, like Baptist Christian.
I was raised Christian as well.
Yep, same here.
That's a That's how I was raised, but I'm more spiritual. Even though I go to a church, but we're open and we call it open and affirming, which means anybody and everybody can come. So we practice from we have Catholics, Orisha. It doesn't matter your religion. You know, we really practice loving each other, loving people to healing. You know, and so we don't get. I know that churches. There's a lot of church hurt out there, and so you go to the Bible and they say this and they say that, and we don't practice that. And I believe that God loves everybody who you call God. Some people are Native American. They believe in the trees and rivers and the planet. God is the earth, and so. But I was born from a Christian background. Grandfather was a Baptist minister, all that. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, so down south. So you already know.
You know, this
I'm not playing.
Yeah, I'm from Tennessee and raised, Baptist, and now we're in Sacramento. So, the church that we attend, our pastor is trans.
Yeah, our pastor is trans.
Okay.
Oh, that's lit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
what about you guys, the Browns?
Who's that?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Your spiritual background.
We believe that there's a higher power, but we just spiritual, no religion.
Not religious. Okay. Yeah, I did want to touch on this question right here.
Anybody dated?
I never had a boyfriend.
I'm assuming this is for but it's for everybody.
I've never had a boyfriend, but I do have a child from a guy, but it was never my boyfriend, so we never dated. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it there.
Right. Okay.
Well, I had a whole husband for 10 years.
You was married.
Excuse my mouth drop.
I was married for 10 years. And my daughter, she's actually in here looking Jamicia. So yeah. I was married for 10 years.
I always tease and say she ain't gay for real.
What about you, Crystal?
Look. So I have a different look. Before I used to have the long hair, so I've dated men. I have a 19-year-old son. So I can hold my own.
She keeps sticking to that story talking about weed is a powerful drug. She got high and then got pregnant.
I'm crying.
My wife has had boyfriends, just to put that out there. She has had boyfriends.
Yeah, we're gonna throw her in the mix too. We're gonna throw her in the mix.
Hey, we want to hear about it. Yeah. You ain't left out. Ain't hot. I have also dated men. I was actually engaged before. When I was 18, I was young, and it was the first person I was ever actually, to get a little more background, so ever intimate with. So that was my first experience with a relationship, and it was the first person I was actually engaged to. So yeah, I've been with men before. I just felt like it just never connected with me. It was never something that really aligned with me, and it was kind of something I was forcing myself to do to please whatever society, my family, people around me, and I wasn't being true to myself.
Definitely.
Okay. And Naomi?
I don't think I can say I've ever really dated a guy. I had 6th grade, 7th grade boyfriends, but that was the last time I ever dated a guy. So I don't think I've never been in love with a guy or anything like that. That I could be which is interesting to me too. But yeah, no, not really.
You just had little crushes.
Yeah, just had little boy crushes, and I was like, this doesn't feel right. Let me find something that does.
On the flip side.
Yeah, we gotta flip the side.
Have you ever been with a woman?
Yeah.
Or have you ever dated a woman?
Yeah.
Who?
You, Larry.
I mean,
it's Larry being clueless for me.
Yeah, through high school only. The last girlfriend I did have is the only reason I question labels, but after high school is when I stopped dating females.
What do you mean with labels? Like you were questioning if you were like bisexual or something?
Cause I've always identified as being bi. I mean, and then you just get, just going through like school, like everybody will just say you're gay.
No,
but
I
there
feel
was one
that.
girl I genuinely like had feelings for, but I broke up with her because like she was an exception. It feels like, and so for the most part, I was like, I am gay, but
okay,
yeah, she was my last.
Can I kick off the question?
Yeah, you got the. Hey, I'm eating right now.
Hold on, Lala. Larry, you said you used to identify as gay, right?
As
You
bi.
knew you were gay.
As bi.
You knew as
Now
bi.
gay. Yeah.
So let me tell you a little bit. I remember the first time I was called gay, and I was overseas, and somebody said, "Oh, you're gay," and I said, "I'm hella happy all the time. Yeah, I'm gay. I didn't even correlate what gay meant. That tells you how absolute I was."
Mm-hmm.
So you basically like you like men and women, and that just shows you how society tries to. I was like, I'm happy. What ain't you happy? Because if you look at the term gay, that's what it really means.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Very true.
Antoine has a follow-up question. With his first question. How do you guys identify as bisexual or lesbians in the traditional sense?
Well, I don't think I even.
feel like I don't identify as anything.
Yeah, like I don't identify as anything, but I mean, since the question says traditional sense, like yeah, I would be considered a lesbian, but I just hate like even like putting yourself into any type of box because then you lock yourself out of the other ones.
For sure. All right.
I agree with that.
I would definitely say I identify as lesbian for the fact that I know that I wouldn't want to be with a man or even anyone who would identify as a man per se. So I would just say lesbian.
And for me, I had been with men all my life, and it wasn't until like 2004 that I saw the first female. And so for a long time, I would tell my wife, I think I'm just gay for you. And it was even until just recently, I told her, I said, babe, I think I'm a lesbian now. I don't, look at men the same way, and she was like, really? But then I was talking to my daughter the other day and she said something. I said, girl, I'm not gay. It's confusing me. I said I was just teasing, but I haven't had that feeling. I haven't had that feeling some time now, So.
Definitely.
What do you think changed, from you like dating and having a husband to transitioning,
Well, I don't know what changed. It was just I was at a party one day and this little girl looking boy came into the yard and it was just like I mean, it was an instant attraction and that led to a 7-year relationship. So when I took her to my house, of course my grandmother being back in the old days, she had to call everybody and say, oh, Larissa Dykin and all of that stuff. And I didn't know anything about that. You know, all I knew is all the experiences I had gone through with men. And I wasn't opposed to saying, okay, let me try something different because I felt that attraction.
Right.
So I never turned back. You know, I never turned back. I always had options, you know, because I always, you know, been that one, you know, I could do whatever I wanted to do, you know. So yeah. So that's how it went down.
Hey, can I? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You good?
I just want to ask, because we're talking about transitions, right? Does anybody or everybody on the panel feel that they have maybe have had these what I want to say, like inclinations, like their whole life, like were you? Oh, okay, yeah. So what's up? Okay,
I was on the same wave. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so everybody's synced in. It's up. So does anybody feel like that you were just naturally born, you know, with your sexual preference?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll say definitely since I can remember having a crush. My first crush was on a girl who was my best friend. And you know, like little kid stuff like, oh, so and so has a crush on like little boy, like how regular stuff. But it was me fighting it and thinking, even at a young age, telling myself, well, you don't actually like her because you wouldn't kiss her. And then it's like, but would you though? Like, and that's the thing where I was not even realizing what I was attracted to because I had opposition telling me this isn't the norm, this isn't what you're supposed to like. So I was kind of keeping myself from that. So I feel like I've always had attraction to women and knew that about myself, but I kept it so down low that I couldn't even realize it myself.
All right, what you got?
I think for me, like I said, I didn't cut my hair and all that until I got older. We're probably the oldest ones on the panel.
Yeah, don't be telling my age.
But I think I was, but I didn't recognize it. You know, when you don't recognize, if you don't see it in your life or around you, I'm military. So in the military, you know, my dad's retired Air Force. You know, back then that it was no don't ask, don't tell. It was like you better keep that shit all the way down underneath the grave and don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it was more natural. I had a more easier communication, the energy with the female. But then I did like guys and I was engaged too. So I kind of looked at myself more of a free spirit, but I have a natural connection, sexual connection with women, but I also have that same connection, a sexual connection with men. So I never was just, like I said, I never really categorized myself, which I really actually am grateful for, because then that allowed me to be able to experience things and not go through as much trauma. Somebody asked in the chat if I hated men. No, I love men. My dad's a man, so I love men. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't lay with you, right? I just don't lay with him. You know what I'm saying? So I never not like men.
Yeah, that's kind of like a good question, and y'all for the people who don't know, I talk like a lot of shit, right? But I would hate to be the dude to be like, hey, babe, you know, I just like women now. Like, sorry, my guy, and I'm like, hey.
Right. No, that's a great question to talk about too. Honestly, when it comes to that sort of thing, where say the last person you dated, a female, was to tell you, you know, I'm gay now. How does that make you feel as a man? I'm curious. Do you feel like that's something you could have influenced, or do you even believe that that's how that works? I'm curious.
I have a question for you.
I would cry. I'm crying.
Like you just lost one, huh?
It's always emotional first, and I'd be like, "Can I peek? Can I see what's going on?
actually being a
So would you still have that
You
same
start trying to
mind
bargain
frame if
and
it
shit.
was like a feminine girl and a stud, or would you like two feminine women?
I was still with
I'm
a
gonna
pink.
tell you, my baby daddy was real salty because at first, initially, when I came out, I was dating more of the stud kind of girls because I felt like I wouldn't get judged as much because I'm dating a girl that's almost like a guy. But then as I became more into the lifestyle, and I was just like, I don't want to date no bitch looking like no nigga. Like I just didn't want to. So I was like, you know, I became more comfortable and confident in my sexuality to where I started dating, you know, more of the feminine kind of girls. But my baby daddy initially was salty, like, you dating this nigga. And he was just really salty about it. And he talked plenty of shit and we would just always argue and all that stuff. But I'm just like, what you mad for? Like, why you mad?
What you mad for? That's a great question. I'm just curious. Like, why are you upset?
That's the number one question.
Do you think it has something to do with you? That's the question.
Exactly, and it's like you letting this female take care of your daughter, this nigga female, whatever you called her, take care of your child. So, like, what you mad at?
Hey, yeah.
So that position was filled gracefully.
Filled with grace.
Right.
A lot of times, men, when you tell them, like, when I started dating females, I had more issues not with the guys that I was dealing with, but more with my family, my mom, you know, coming from the South. And I think a lot of times men feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I see we have some natural men, as we call natural men, that are having transition on here, but natural men, that they believe that it has an assault on their masculinity when it has nothing to do with your masculinity. And I think a lot of times people are interpreting, especially men, that they interpret if you date a female, then there's something wrong with me and I'm not man enough, and you know, all that old shit. You know, all of us been raped or molested and all that. I never had that, thank goodness. That didn't make me want to be attracted to women, but that's I think that's the cop out a lot of people say when you say, oh, you dating a woman. Something must have happened to you. No, motherfucker, nothing happened to me. I just found the right person. It was cool, made my shit, you know, and I went with that. That was
and it be like the dudes, they be like, oh, you no, they be like, oh, where your nigga at? I'm like, my wife, and they'll get salty talking about some, oh, what nigga hurt you? Oh, your baby daddy wasn't hitting that right. And I'm like,
or you ain't had a man like me yet. Like you some caliber of man that I haven't encountered.
That's narcissism. That's narcissism.
But
that's the fact. That is a fact.
That is narcissism.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
So men, can y'all answer that question? In like,
can y'all
how do y'all do that?
Hey, did y'all give them like?
Why do men do that?
Did y'all give them like hints, or did y'all just like boom drop it on him? You feel me? Like, or was it like y'all was hinting? You know, within the relationship.
My baby daddy knew because she was around like a whole lot. She was around. She was in the room when I gave birth, so he knew.
Oh wow!
But I don't feel like I had to be like, I didn't have to go to him because we weren't dating. I wasn't gonna go be like, oh well, I'm dating girls now. Like, it's not your business. This is my life.
Yeah.
I feel that.
So the last guy I dated, I actually, when I met the girl and I brought her back to the house, and I told him, I said, I want you to meet somebody, and he was all good. But then when he saw her, he was like, no, that's not your type. I said, no, nigga, that's not your type. That's my type. That ain't your type. We thought it was going to go down. No, that ain't your type. So he got real bitter and sour. And I was like, whatever, you know, and I never turned back. So, like, nah, that's not your type. Oh, okay. You know, we all not getting ready to get into bed. So.
So he was over the idea of it, yeah.
I'm trying to see why none of the men speaking on that question.
What question?
What question?
So the first question that I asked was because when you initially said you wanted to take a peek, would you still have that same energy if it was a stud girl and a feminine girl, or would you rather just be?
Hey, they get out them jeans. My body still look the same.
I need to know all the information. Like, okay, that's what I wasn't doing. Yeah, I'm gonna cry first. I promise y'all, I'm crying first, and I'm like, but look, let me see what it is.
And the second question was mine.
So even when they pull the strap out too.
Nah, see.
He said, "You lost me.
I'm gonna say it just
You
like
lost
this.
me." He said,
Me
"She
and my
pulled the strap
homeboy,
out."
dick belts. I've seen females with dick belts. I've seen them, and I've seen how they work. They're everlasting.
No, I'm
I'm just trying to see what you trying to see.
Y'all can't ask me that.
All right.
But yes, I just like the information. I like to know, what's going on and like how they do their thing, how they think and whatnot. Which brings me to a question, Crystal. I'm so glad that you brought it up because I did not want to just come out and ask it, but it was a topic that my partner Kareem had touched on. And I don't. If anybody's sensitive to this topic, then we don't have to, just open up about it. But we all family. But is there? Because I think it was all across the board when Crystal had brought it up. So is it safe to say that has came across any type of early childhood sexual abuse that kind of made them transition in the way that they transition, or
no,
there was never any, whatever the people may assume, like molestation from a man or from a woman, or any type of abuse that I experienced that influenced my sexuality.
Okay.
And I really think society does that because it makes it comfortable for people to criticize you for your choices.
Yeah. It's the cop out, like you said, for sure.
Yeah.
What was you gonna say, baby?
I was gonna say that I feel like
Can I
even
say
with like having trauma and stuff like that I went through in my early years in life, I feel like I can make a clear distinction between the cause and effect and stuff like that. Because like from an early age, those were my crushes. It was my best friend, the cute little girl with the brown hair, whatever. Like just like schoolyard stuff. And I definitely feel like I can make the distinction between the two, like in what they did to me or whatever like that.
Bravo.
Yeah, definitely. It was because it's been said a lot, and people probably argue with this like back and forth all day, and they're saying that it's some type of agenda to push same-sex couples out of homosexuality out to people. But let me tell y'all straight up, I don't care how much shit that they push. I love women. It's not going to change me at the end of the day. I think even if I was a youngster, it would still. I would still like that's just my path. That's just what I do.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you questioning your sexuality, say like if you because people get they start having sexual feelings at real young age. You might be in elementary school, not really knowing what's going on. You going through puberty or whatever was the case, and you confused, and they in school teaching you that it's okay to they talking to you about it. You see what I'm saying? Where they saying where you in school, you're not at home, where it's your parents talking to you about it and saying, okay, it's okay to feel this way or whatever. But they opening up a whole new branch of shit to these kids that's not necessarily within a viewpoint or within the comfort space of the parents. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's definitely agenda when they start entering it into the schools, and they see that's forced, because if I may not even want to be comfortable enough to talk to my kid about any type of sexual stuff at all. You see what I'm saying? And me personally, I didn't run into sex ed. You know what I mean? I went to all the grades and everything. I didn't run into sex ed, me personally, until I was in high school. Now they talking about gender in elementary school. You see what I'm saying? And so what you're doing is you molding the kids from a young age. When you start, okay, well, it's okay to think that you a man, woman, and all these other genders, and you put it into their head, and like they say, once you spark that spark, you get people going off in a different direction. Okay, besides that, I don't want to keep going on, right? But besides that, now you got all of these. Okay, so now you spark the spark, right? The kid don't know what's going on, he confused. And then now you got all of these TV shows, right? Where to me, in the way that I see it, especially with African American television, because that's mainly what I watch, right? I mean, it's hard to watch a television show nowadays where it's not introduced. So when we say it's an agenda, right, that means that if somebody is purposely doing this. So if we know, I mean, if we do the statistics, right, if we do the population statistics, right, and we say, okay, well, how many people is gay versus how many people is straight, right? Then I think it's an overwhelming majority. I actually haven't looked this one up, but I think it's an overwhelming majority that's straight in America, right? So if that's the case, then why every time I watch television, right, why is it something that don't represent the majority of civilization being pushed onto this television? You see what I'm saying? If this ain't even necessarily what people want to see. When I'm gonna give you an example. When they had the homosexual scene on Power, a lot of the Black community lashed out and they was like, man, why I gotta be on every channel? It's already on Empire, it's already on everything. Why they gotta do it on this channel? Because they like, that ain't what we want to see. This don't represent us necessarily. And I get it that everybody wants to be included, right? Well, that's fine, but why? But do you see what I say about an agenda being pushed? If you got a large population that don't necessarily want to see something, or you know what I mean, and for example,
I feel like we honestly just started.
Let you go, but if we reverse the situation, right, and the situation is, oh, okay, well, like for example, Shorty Low, right? He had a situation where he was about to have a reality TV show, but Shorty Low had, I don't know exactly how many, 12 kids, 20 kids or something like that. And a whole bunch of Black women came out and they said, oh, this ain't what we want to see. You see what I'm saying? And because they said that, they said, okay, we're not going to put his show out. So his show got canceled because the majority of the viewers, it wasn't what they wanted to see. But when we're talking about agenda, right? If this ain't the majority, but y'all still pushing this, then that's what we call an agenda. And when you forcing it on people at a young age, you know what I'm saying? That's definitely an agenda. So that's my viewpoint on that.
Can I answer him real quick?
Let me say something real quick, because I know the panel.
There's a couple people that want to say something. There's a couple people. I see the faces.
Yeah.
No. Can I answer Kareem? Kareem, right?
Real quick, Chris. Let me say one thing. Let me say one thing. I promise you just one thing. So, to what I just asked everybody that was on the panel was ultimately, did you feel like this, like you were born this way, right? So I think almost, if not everybody said, yeah. So even from a younger age, if they're still trying to push whatever agenda, it was already made up. That's why when I say your path, that means that's your path. So whatever your path is going to go towards is going to be what that is. So when we talk about a lot of people's story that says, hey, you want to know what? Well, I wasn't comfortable as a kid thinking that this was wrong, but now they're opening up this channel to say, you want to know what? Well, maybe it's not that wrong. You understand what I'm trying to say? So now what they're doing is they're opening up this lane for people so they won't have to feel suppressed or depressed or whatever type. Everybody's free to do what they want to do. Now, if you choose, because you just now said that the teachers are doing this shit behind the parents' backs. I mean, granted, they should. I guess we will push for like some type of situation to where the parents have to sign for their kids and on that type of time. But I think that right now it's just like everything is open. We're coming into a new time. This is the new age. So you know what I mean? So when it comes down to that level of information, how long are we going to keep this suppressed? Then you brought up it's like on mainstream TV, but we don't get the same type of uproar when we're talking about black on black crimes or gang banging movies and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? So there's an avenue for that too, for people who live that life. Like, you know what I mean? So it's all depends on what you want to do as far as what they're going to put out. And I noticed you said that if a certain amount of people is not fucking with it, then it's an agenda. But what is the agenda? That would be my question. What is the agenda? Are we pushing for people to be more open to what they may be experiencing, or is the agenda to say, you want to know what? Well, fuck what y'all feel. We're going to push this on you anyway. Because again, they cannot show me a million shows, TV videos, whatever, and I'm going to be like, nah, nigga, that nigga over there looking kind of good right now. It's not going to happen. My life is bad, right?
That's real shit, though. That's real
real.
shit.
So Kareem, so let me answer your question. So I do think I'm 53. So just to let you know, like I said, I believe I'm the oldest. I believe I'm the oldest one, even older than my wife. And when I was growing up, I came from a 2-parent household. My dad is as straight as you can get straight, and my mom is as straight as you can be straight. My dad doesn't look at no man and be like, hey. And my mama don't look at no girl and be like, hey. You know what I'm saying? So when I was in school, we had sex ed. We had sex ed around 8th grade, right after in junior high. So what I feel is that the agenda is, the beautiful thing about TV is that you could turn the channel. And the thing, you know what I'm saying? And the next thing, Kareem, when you say agenda, when I was growing up, everything was Leave It to Beaver, all that shit, the Brady Bunch. So the agenda was you have to be straight. You have to be straight. So now that it's flipped, you know, I think now the people who is like, you know, nobody said, "Oh, are you straight?" Nobody asked you that. Everybody just assumed that you were straight, right? And now now you have the ability to, you know, open up and say what you want to be, what you think you are. You know what I'm saying? So the agenda was already here. You better be straight or we're going to crucify you in church. We're not going to accept you. We're going to kill you, all that stuff. And now that it's turned, now everybody is like, oh, wait a minute, back up. There's an agenda. There's an agenda. But wait a minute. It started from the gate that you had to be straight and that's it. So, I mean, it's kind of like, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying is in the TV shows and stuff like that.
Right.
But if I don't like something, I'm a turn it.
Right. When I'm mainly talking about agenda, I mean, like, as far as something that's being like when I gave the examples, like something that's being pressed upon you. Again, you can change the channel, but like I gave a clear example. It's on every TV station almost. They're actually injecting it in the cartoons now. They're injecting it into children's television now. You see what I'm saying? So
I get what you're saying, King. I get what you're saying.
Right.
But
so
if you go back,
it's hard to get away from it.
No, I'm saying I understand, but if you go back for a long time, black people wasn't on TV.
I understand your point. Yep. Look, I understand your point. I understand that was definitely an agenda, right? So that's that. So we have identified agendas, right? So when we know when the agenda is going on, we know when certain things are being put on TV that it is agenda, and we know when certain things aren't being put on TV that it is agenda. So I just see that as an agenda. Okay, now when you addressing you address as far as it was a straight.
Oh, he froze.
Look at that.
I gotta come back up.
Oh man, am I on there?
Oh, there you go.
Back now, yeah.
Hey, I'm paying for top speed internet and it's still crazy.
Hey man, it's a agenda to slow your shit down, yo.
Right. Yeah, for real. The enemy don't be one of the but I was saying as far as like you said it was an agenda before for everybody to be straight, but I think like first thing that caught my mind when you said that is that like that's God's agenda. I feel like, you see what I'm saying? Because you know I hate to like I was first of all I was invited to can y'all still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like invited to the show, right? And I haven't been saying nothing because you know I don't want to feel like I'm attacking people, or I don't want y'all to feel like I'm attacking y'all. But I do have viewpoints, and you know I see that it's a lot of couples on here, and you know, and my thing about it is I'm for anybody who want to be with anybody. I'm never against anybody for dating with nobody or sleeping with nobody, right? But I think he tagged me on here because on my podcast I had a lot of questions because for me myself I'm all about the African American and my community, right, that I live in, and even beyond that, the people that's just around.
He froze again. Hey man, you make that refund for that internet.
Right. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no.
And I had some basic questions just as far as on. Okay, yeah, this might not work then. But I just had some basic questions as far as, if you're born gay, right? Wouldn't, and I know this question has been gone over a million times, but it doesn't sound like when I talk to y'all, it doesn't sound like most of y'all were actually born gay. But
I was born black, baby.
Right, exactly. So like if you're born gay, then that means that you're born different. Is there like a gene in you, or because are you able to be born a different way than me?
Yes. People are born a billion ways, a billion different ways. We are not the same. And nobody who is gay would choose to be gay because you're choosing to be oppressed. If you were to choose your sexuality, you're choosing to be oppressed. I lived under a roof where I was prolifically abused for something I could not change. If I could change it in my early stages of life, I would have. Lord knows, because it's her ex. Like, it was bad.
Not the ex.
And then so for you, since you answered, Larry.
Really quick. May I say something really, really quick? Because I watched your podcast, and I don't want you to feel like I'm targeting you or anything like that, Kareem. But I data checked your statistics, and I data checked a lot of the stuff that you put out there as far as your interpretation of the data that you were putting out, right? By nature, by nature, hold on. By nature, let me finish.
Sources. I can give you all my sources.
I do too. So by nature, I naturally data check, and then I re-educate based off of the data. There is an actual gene homosexuality. I can give you the link to it. I can also give you the source to it. Give me one moment. So go ahead and ask your question, and then I'll jump back in and I'll give you that data.
Hey, watch these real quick. Let me say something real quick, Kareem, because you almost
can't say something real quick when I'm trying to talk. But you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's several people on the channel when I'm trying to make a point. But to your point, all my data has been verified, re-verified, and then verified again. So when I was giving statistics,
I got receipts too.
As far as age, as far as those statistics I was given was from the Center of Disease Control, so the CDC. So you can argue with them about those statistics. And then I got other statistics from several universities, and all of this data is online. So I do understand that there are variables in statistics, and then that one company may say this and that, and you may have a statistic that my statistics didn't say. But if we look across the board, it's easily verifiable. And then as far as a homosexual gene, I addressed that in my podcast. And when I was telling you that many scientists will say many different things, but when we looking across the board, you will not find the average scientist that's going to say, okay, that there's a homosexual gene that's found in somebody. So we can find scientists that say, that the Earth is made off of creation, and we can find scientists that say that Earth was made from the Big Bang Theory, and we can find scientists that say Earth was made from something else. So what one person says, and that when you Google one thing, all my statistics are across the board. You see what I'm saying? And this is easily verifiable. The statistics that I gave, for example, since you brought up statistics, I gave the statistics of in the Black community, right? In the African American community, African Americans are 2 and 3 times more affected by HIV, right? In the regular community, compared to straight individuals and homosexual individuals, the homosexual community has a way higher rate of HIV, right? And other diseases. So this is verifiable across the board. You see what I'm saying? Then when we go into the Black homosexual community compared to the regular community or the straight community, the rates are still way higher. Then when we go into poverty, right? Fact check this: when we go into poverty, the rates of and I get it, right? And I said all of that in my podcast, that I get that some of these statistics are based on things like oppression against that community and other things. But my whole point was that if you had watched my podcast, my whole point was that if we know, like the brother down there said, like Larry said, if we know, see, my whole thing is that this comes from a point of sin, right? We all have a sin nature. So I'm trying to give you my foundation so you see where I'm coming from, right? My point is that we all have a certain type of sin nature. And then in that sin nature, you know what I'm saying? When you a kid, right? Because some people experience, for me personally, I don't think that you should have sexual experience. I don't think that if it's not coming from an outside influence that you would be having sexual thoughts and experience when you are a young child, right? But if that's the case, it is. So when you are a small kid, what you will see is some kids they develop tendencies to steal. You will see another kid develop a tendency to lie. Maybe another kid develop a tendency to hit, right? This is what I call the sin nature, right? So most of the time, we understand things as negative or being bad because we understand that the kid grow up lying. You know what I'm saying? The sin nature.
I don't think that's sin nature. I think that's learned behavior.
Okay, but let me give you my foundation, and I'm gonna shut up real quick, right? Okay, I believe that it's learned behavior once you start walking into it. Once the kid starts to do it, they learn that behavior. And
learned behavior usually comes from behavior usually comes from watching.
I'm trying to give you my foundation so that you can give an argument based on my foundation, right? And then you can see what I'm understanding, what I'm saying. So the learned behavior that I'm talking about. So for example, if a kid end up being a liar, right? And he learns that when he lies, he get away with things. He learns that behavior and he continues to do the lies. So when he gets older, right, he has to learn behavior of being a liar and he's trying to get away with being stuff of a liar. So as a parent, you will identify the sin nature in your child. Okay, this boy always telling lies, lying on other people, he's always trying to get away with it. And you try to walk or talk your kid out of going into that direction, right? This is the same way with every other sin on the board. But for some reason, when it comes to like being homosexual, right? When it comes to being homosexual, we look at it as something different. Even though, right, we know that this lifestyle leads into all of those things that I just talked about, which was a lifestyle of poverty, a lifestyle of not even that it's a lifestyle of that, but it leads into higher rates of poverty. It leads into higher rates of disease, and it leads into higher rates of suicide and depression. You see what I'm saying? So, that's where I come from. I come from like, why are we like, if I got a friend, if I got a child, if I got a loved one who I care about, and I know that the lifestyle that they finna walk into leads to all of these things. Now, again, I understand that some of these things that it leads to is caused by oppression, is caused by all of these other things, but still it leads to that. So those are the facts, right? So if we know that those are the facts, why are we okay with we're not okay with our children walking into the lifestyle of criminals. We okay with our children walking to the lifestyle of homosexual, even though we know it leads to all of these statistics that I just gave you. And like I said, that's
statistics because we lack the resources as a community because society is so against us. They are so afraid of the fact they like look at us like we're outcasts, like we are less than.
Right. And so let me give you an example, Larry, because I know where you're coming from, right? So I gave an example on my podcast. So for a good example is, so if you try to be a basketball player and you want to join the NBA, right? Or if you want to be a rapper, you see what I'm saying? The statistics are so against you and everything is so against you, right? So if you say, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop out of school and I'm going to just go after being a rapper. I'm going to just try to be a rapper. I'm going to just start rapping every day. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just drop out of school. Guess what your parents going to do? Guess what your loved ones and your friends going to do? They're going to try to talk you out of that path. You see what I'm saying? Because they know that the lifestyle that you're going into is not going to be, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to be good for you. Probably. You may make it, right? But because that lifestyle of trying to just be a rapper, you see a lot of people who try to just be a rapper, they don't make it. You see what I'm saying? So they would probably say, hey, go to school, do it this way. But again, for some reason in this community, because they put a stamp on, they said you're born this way, even though we can't. We say that it's so born this way.
Hey, real quick. And I'm gonna say this for everybody that's on the panel, and I'm not trying to be rude, but we got a hit one point and pass that mic.
Because we got a lot of people on the panel. You know what I'm saying? We want to try to get everybody to, say their piece.
Kareem, I know that you was making, but if we can chop it down as they come, and then it'll be a whole better type of flow with the conversation. But I do want to say this real quick because you said earlier that you said two things. I'm addressing. I'm gonna pass the mic. So one of the things that you said, the first agenda that Crystal was talking about in terms of the be straight agenda, you said that would be synonymous with God, like that was a part of God.
Yeah, I didn't get to really go into detail about that as far as when I talked about that. And see, it's hard for me to kind of just hit a topic and get off of it because there's so many people asking me questions. So I feel like I got to kind of hit a lot of topics so y'all understand where I'm coming from, and that way you're not arguing points that I'm that you see what I'm saying, that I'm not even trying to make or that I don't agree with. But when I said that was God's plan or that was God's position, is because when I go back into that, I was talking about man and woman and the fact that you cannot have a child, right? So if we look at old school before TV and how this all started, if you can't have a child, then you see what I'm saying, and man and woman. So that's how humanity looked at it. That's how they judged it based on the natural. You see what I'm saying? And so that's how TV was.
Just real quick. So you're saying that when TV was not promoting same-sex couples, then it was God, right?
No, what I'm saying is that God made a plan, right? And in that plan, or the creator, whatever
it has nothing to do with it.
Right. People could call it energy or whatever. And in that plan, it was created that it took a male and a female to reproduce. Right.
Okay.
So that was
I want to get off that real quick. I was just trying to ask a question. But what you said was more recently, you said what this would be a sin nature, right?
Right.
So when you think about the word, take sin out of it, just real quick. When you take sin out of it, then you would just be left with nature, right?
Right, exactly.
Meaning that you would naturally be what you are, right?
That ain't what it means. I mean, nature means it is your nature. You see what I'm saying? And your nature.
What is that?
Right. So
that's what I'm saying.
We gotta do. See, I'm coming from a biblical standpoint, is where I'm standing on. So I understand what you're saying.
Wait. Let me. We gotta slow down.
Your inner nature comes from yourself. So the sin comes from within you. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, right there. So it's still a part of your natural being, right?
Right. So it's sin. Yeah, exactly. So you have to identify it.
Okay. So with that being stated, because I know that you had mentioned in your podcast that it made somebody just acting this way, or it's somebody got like some type of deep, but ultimately you're still saying that it's nature, meaning that it's natural, right?
No, sir. What I'm saying is that it's within your. Listen to what I'm saying.
What does nature mean to you?
What I'm saying is that within your own individual self, right?
Okay, right there, right there.
A certain type of nature. Okay. Listen to what I'm saying. Within your own individual self, you develop a certain type of nature, right? And within that nature brings a certain type of sin. You see what I'm saying?
Where does that development come from?
Listen to what I'm saying, because I get where
come on, man.
Where I'm going. What I'm saying though, because I get where you're going. But okay, if that's the case, why is it that we don't let our children have the nature of lying? Why is that not okay? But I mean, I understand where you're coming from already, because you've already said that it's okay to be a liar.
Let me say this real quick.
To do anything that you want to.
Right. So as a person who is coming into themselves, right? Because that's ultimately what you're saying. Like they probably used to be a liar, and then they came into themselves.
No, what I'm saying is that I gave an example. I said that from a childhood age, right? We see sin nature in kids when we first start to see it, right? And you're saying, okay, so if that's your nature, then that's who you are. Then okay, but if that's the case, I'll go with that. I'll go with your theory, right? But if that's the case, then why is it that when we say their nature, and then we see that the children hitting, and we see the children stealing, and we see the children lying, why don't we just say, well, that's the kid nature?
That's their sexual preference.
That's what I was about to say. He's trying to equate the two.
Wait. So what you're doing is that you're saying those things that we would consider being bad that's synonymous with your sexual preference that everybody don't consider bad.
Right, but I mean, everybody has their own opinion. I get that, but I mean,
so how do you determine what is what? How can you say this is right and this is wrong, or this is right and this is wrong?
Oh, well, I can't. I can only judge for me. You see what I'm saying? And I can have questions. See, when I got on my podcast, I didn't say for nobody else and what they should do. You see what I'm saying? I just said what I'm gonna do and what I'm okay with. You see what I'm saying? And I'm giving you my viewpoints of why I'm against it. You see what I'm saying? So I get that.
So can I ask you a question, Kareem? Excuse me, I mean to cut you off. Have you ever had a menage a trois?
No.
No. Has anybody else on here had a menage a trois?
It's a threesome, right?
And the reason I ask that is because I've come across it's okay if I'm with my dude and he bring another female in, all of a sudden it's not sin no more. We just, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, like,
and the reason I say that is a lot of times when I hear people, and I respect your opinion, when I hear people bring in the Bible, which is man-made, which we all know. I'm hoping everybody knows that man made that during that time. You know what I'm saying? There were gays back then too.
But you
go back into history. If you're saying natural, and what I'm saying is that society has taught us that it's okay when you can get your rocks off as two men and one woman or whatever. It's okay then. It's like we categorize it when we want it to fit our agenda at that moment in time. And so I think a lot of times people take statistics and they skew them to the way they need them to be skewed so it makes their argument valid. I don't look at statistics. I just base myself off my life, and I don't judge anybody else on their life. I don't go into statistics and say, oh, this is 50% this way and 40% that way, because that's not real. That to me, that's not logical. That's why I appreciate him bringing us on the show, because you might categorize my lifestyle as a statistic, but I'm out here doing my grind with whom I love, and fuck a statistic. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't think in those terms. I have a straight son who was born from a lesbian mother and a straight father. I come from two straight parents. You know what I'm saying? And he likes women. Point blank. Period. If he and
that's what he likes.
Just like the host said. And in actuality, sometimes I wonder because he's hella pretty. So I'm scared for him because I'm like, you fucking fine, and you come from a lesbian mama. Everybody might assume that but he like bitches. So excuse my French, but and I'm good with that. So I don't live in a statistical world. The only time that I hear people using statistics is to validate when they want to degrade people, or when they want to put people in a box. And when they want to measure, when they want to use statistics.
Can I ask you a question, Chris?
You had no statistic when you knew Leroy, who was the church choir, leading the church choir, he was bringing money to the church. Nobody has statistics when Luther was singing all them songs, and they knew that he was singing singing to men, but you was buying Luther stuff. I just look at it as like you use statistics. People use statistics to quantify their argument so they can put people down, when we should be living in a world that if that's your choice, that's how you were born, that's whatever, then fuck it, let it be whatever, as long as you ain't hollering at me.
Crystal, may I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Okay, I understand your argument. That's a good argument, actually, and a lot of people would do that. But I'm actually very statistical, so in all my arguments, that's one of the main things I do is give statistics. One of the other
what you do is when you do that, King, you lose the essence of the person that you're talking about. We are not numbers. And that's the problem.
Okay.
You don't get an accurate and true reading of a person basing them off of a number. Because if that's the case, you are using the white man's statistics to qualify.
Okay.
Bring it
So,
out.
first of all, I want to address that. I want to address that as the first thing. The white man statistics, right? Where is your? Okay, so since
My statistics is me.
Because we said because we said the white man statistics.
Yeah,
So
I don't use nobody's statistics, Kareem. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna shut up. Let you talk again.
Talk to me. Don't give me, Kareem, don't give me no number. Talk to me. You talking to me. I'm live and in color. I'm live and in color. I'm not
color, baby.
I went ahead and shut up so I could hear what you were saying, and then I said, "Can I ask you a question?"
Okay, ask me a question, King.
Right.
Ask me a question, King.
And see, I actually forgot what I was even gonna say. You know what I mean?
Maybe it wasn't that important.
Hey, cousin,
King, this is how I look at it. If I met you live and in person, you will not see my sexuality. You will see me.
No, okay. So I remember what you were saying now. Okay, so I like that. So again, when I talk, I use statistics. The reason why I use statistics because again, like I said in my podcast, see, this ain't addressed to y'all. This is just how I think. Period. Okay. See, statistics are facts. You feel me? And you can't get away from the fact. Hold on. I know you got an outburst. You can't wait to speak.
You're not hearing me, Kareem. You on a podcast to talk to us.
Because you have an opinion and I have an opinion, and I'm allowed to speak as well, right? So
but I'm just saying. You said facts, man.
When you give these facts are across the board. Already spoke upon that. So the whole thing is, right? Even though you have your personal life, even though you got your personal situation and you might not be affected by the statistics, the fact is that those 80% of people that I was talking about, the 2 and 3 times of the African Americans that got HIV, guess what? That is a statistic, so that is their real life, right?
No,
so when
hold on.
Check it out. So when I'm talking about the what's better for the entire Black community as a whole, not as your individual life. I don't care about your individual life.
What about so you're using statistics.
What's affecting my community?
What about high blood pressure? What about high cholesterol? All in our community.
That's not what we're
That has
talking
shit to
about.
do with me being gay. That has shit to do with me who I'm laying with.
But you the one talking about high blood pressure. We talking about poverty. We talking about disease, and we talking about oppression. This is what we talking about. We're not talking about high blood pressure. High blood pressure.
You're using. What I'm saying is that you're using those statistics to validate your argument, and I'm saying you can use statistics to validate anything. That's what I'm saying. But when you talk to the people, when you talk to a person, you are no longer talking to a statistic, and that's the problem. We need to stop basing how we need to stop basing
and that's what's affecting our community.
Hey, real quick. Let me jump in real quick.
Because I've been very respectful and I've been being quiet when everybody talks, and I give everybody a chance to talk. But then I'm asking to be heard, and then you overtalk me. But so don't mute my mic if you're not gonna mute everybody else's mic, or let's just have a respectful conversation. Or I don't mind jumping off. It's either how y'all want it. You feel me?
Yeah, no, definitely. And again, we appreciate everybody for coming on, but sometimes because this is a passionate conversation, right? So everybody wants to be heard. So we have to just
it sounds like static.
Everybody. I've been in the conversations like that, and I'm too, but there's a lot. We just gotta say what we gotta say, pass the mic around. But that's what I'm saying. If we can just stick to a Q&A, and then we can just pass the mic around, according to how it goes and shit. So but go ahead, Laura, because you've been waiting for a minute.
Can I ask, when Kareem, when you did your data search, right? Did you in only HIV in the gay community as to what's killing off the Black community?
I'm sorry.
You said what now?
When you did your data research in the Black when you did your research, your statistical research.
Let me give you how I did my data research. What I did when I first looked up the data.
Did you hold up before because you kind of cut her off? Did you hear her question?
I think I heard the question. She said, "How did I did I only look
at?" Because I know what she's going to ask. Let her ask the question real quick.
When you did your statistic research in what's killing because I think you said gay and Black, right? So did you factor in only the HIV rates against the Black and the gay community, or did you contributing factors that may be communicable disease or natural disease or natural reasoning as to what else could be an outside influence to what's killing the Black community as well?
So let me understand your question so I could answer it exactly how you trying to ask. Are you asking me, did I look up other information as far as on how Black people are getting HIV?
No. Did you look at anything other than HIV according to the gay and Black community? What else is killing Black people? That statistically, what else is
I mean, you mean like all the other several things like heart disease that's killing Black people, and like I can go down the line. Yeah, absolutely. I'm very, very, very aware. So understand that we're understand, first of all, I was tagged in here, right? And that somebody
All right, moderator, go to something else. He froze.
the reason I was asking that? Or do you want to wait until he comes back?
Yeah, people want to come back in.
I apologize, y'all.
No,
you good. You good.
Hey, wait, can we take a quick break real quick and tell karmic fruition, you don't have to fight so hard. It's okay. Like, some people come in with super hard bias. They're not gonna get it. There's no point in fighting in the comments over it because they're just not gonna get it. But I appreciate it.
Let me say this to the chat real quick. For everybody who's on the chat via either Facebook or YouTube, link is up. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't want to have that excuse. Well, I couldn't find a link because I see people in a thing, and I've said it several times that the link is in it. It's on my Facebook, or you know what I mean? We post a link up somewhere.
Yeah. Let's see how I do this.
Yeah, so the link is.
I shared it on mine. I shared it online as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm just who's on my Facebook and have access to the link is right there. Because there's a lot of and let me say this, it's not easy. So I do commend Kareem for coming on. It's not easy.
Yeah.
I commend all of you guys, but it's not easy to come on. You could be on that keyboard and be in that comment section like a motherfucker, right? But when you are face to face with somebody, you get the energy. It's different. So please, if you guys want to come in, the link is right there. It's posted. Right, but if anybody else had either questions or anything like that, we can pass the mic around.
But can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
But that's what I was saying. So y'all gotta just understand my viewpoints. I just have my own personal opinions. You know what I mean? So and I had made those opinions clear on my channel, and it was just basically that, you know, I feel like we are all the same. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like everybody has a certain type of nature. You know what I mean? And then so for my nature, you know, I got my own issues. I feel like everybody sins, so it's not about pointing nobody out because, like I said, you know, if you're a liar, if you an adulterer, a fornicator, all of these things is sin. So we all equally guilty, right? In some shape, form, or fashion. But what you got to do is be able to just identify your sin. And I feel like for some reason, and I feel like that's part of the agenda too, that we've made this sexual sin. And we trying to call it something else. You see what I'm saying? So that's all I do is I identify it as what I believe that it is, and then I say, okay, well, you can start at that point and you can work on it from there. It's not about judging nobody or nothing like that, though. You see what I'm saying?
I
appreciate it.
Yeah, but see, here's my thing is with the sin thing, right? The sin, your sin or your definition of sin or your identification of sin might likely ain't a sin to the person who's doing whatever you think they're sinning, right? So to identify if to them it's not a sin, right?
Well, I had went over that already. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, go ahead.
Well, because you just said it. So what I'm saying is you said that we all have a sin nature, right? So if my nature of sin is lying, and sin is stealing, it might be based off of necessity. It may be based off of want. It may, you know what I mean? Who are you to say that they need to identify that sin and recorrect it? You get what I'm saying?
Well, hey, guess what? Maybe maybe
your sin. I'm sorry, I'm almost in. Your sin that they might be finding you might not be a sin to you on the flip side. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay, that's fine. So that was my question, but I don't see parents when we talk about all of these other sins. I already went over that. I don't see parents when people are you might not have a problem with being drunk all the time. You might think being sloppy drunk is good, right? But like if you got a good friend, I would think that they would try to talk you out of that. You see what I'm saying? I don't see parents like just being like, okay, he's a liar. It's okay. That's just his nature. You see what I'm saying? So that goes to basically what you're saying.
Let me say something real quick. I'm sorry. On your podcast, on a video that you did, you said if you loved your loved one, you said, why would you walk them into the fire?
Right.
In terms of when we're talking about relationships. So in my mind, and this I could be absolutely wrong, if you love them, why would you not let them be who they are?
Right.
Okay, that's what I wanted to address. Because when you love your child and you see that your child is a liar and you see that your child makes you a thief.
Okay, listen.
I'm tired of the analogy. Just say what it is. We talking about being gay. And we're talking about being straight. So use that example.
That's different. Well, you can put it on the same scale, but then that would say, are you wrong for having your sexual preference?
Right. That's what I was saying.
Am I wrong for having my sexual preference?
Yeah.
Well, no, absolutely not. But look, I never said, this is what you got to understand. Y'all are trying to fight the argument with me of like, is y'all sexual preference right or wrong? I never said if your sexual preference is right or wrong.
No, we not. We not fighting.
Right or wrong, respectfully, I don't really care.
Yeah,
right.
We're just all trying to get our viewpoints out there.
I can't hear you.
Fire means that you think that it's wrong.
Okay, so let me get
nature.
You want to allow me to explain myself, LaJuan? You keep talking and telling me what I'm thinking.
Okay, but listen, my question to you was saying that you said that on your podcast show, you said that you're leading them into the fire. So in your mind, is that right or wrong? Is going into the fire.
And what did I say on my podcast that the fire was?
I don't.
What is the fire? I don't.
I gave you. Okay, so let me back up real quick. Let me back up. When I first started, when I was talking about it, I said that when you live this life, right? And see, that's why I had to give y'all some background so you see where I'm coming from. I said, when you live this white life and you walk on earth, I said, the reason why I believe in the Bible is because the Bible gives me confirmation, right? And so when I read the Bible and then I walk on earth and I have experience, I get confirmation from my experience. And so when I see that it confirmed what the Bible already told me, I say, oh, the Bible is a good source, right? So the same way, when you, and then I described sin, and I described how there's a physical consequence. There's a physical and a spiritual consequence for sin, right? And you cannot get away from the physical consequence while you're right here on earth. There's not one sin that you can name. So let me give you my background. I know I'm going on, but I have to answer the question. I'm gonna give it real quick. So with that physical with that physical thing that happens to you, right? So like I gave an example. If you are an adulterer, it can cause you to the physical thing that happens may be things come into your relationship, maybe a disease. The physical things that happen may be your relationship. You got to give up your house or something like that, right? So that's confirmation, right? So let me give you an example. When you get these physical negative things, I want to say
that's confirmation. I promise you, I'm gonna say one thing and I'm gonna let you go. Let me say something to that. For people who are feeling a certain type of way mentally, sexually, spiritually, to compress that, to suppress that, do you think that that's on the body as well?
You're asking me another question before I answer the next question, before I answer the question I was already asking, so then I lose track of what I was saying.
I'm just saying, for everything that you're saying, there's an opposite to
I
that.
got a question that's a simple yes or no. I got a question that's a simple yes or no. Can I throw that in there real quick?
Real quick, you the third question. I'm still trying to answer that first question.
Before you come in,
So what happens?
Wait, hold on, Kareem.
And I end up getting jumped, and then every time I try to answer a question.
Hey, but keeping it solid though, bro. Like when you talk, you every time you've responded, you taking up like 4, 5, 6 minutes. So it's not that you're not getting to talk.
Okay, that's because I'm getting asked questions based on what I
Okay, I got a yes or no question for you. Is that like it's simple yes or no?
I'm not gonna be able to answer your question because I feel like I'm being jumped now without being able to.
Let him get to his point. Go ahead.
I don't even remember what I was talking about. I got attacked with 3 questions within like 10 seconds.
So I was asking.
So
I was asking you that. I was asking you. Do you think that when you say that when we talk about the sexual preference, when you say that it's a sin nature, right? And you say that it's bad. On your podcast, you said you're walking people into fire. So how do you know that you're not walking them away from the fire?
Right. So okay. So exactly. So hold on. So exactly. So that's what I was talking about. So again, I'm gonna go into exactly what the fuck I was talking about. Confirmation. So when you walking on earth, you get confirmation, and when you get that confirmation in the negative, see, the Bible says with free will, right? I got to give it to you the background. The Bible says with free will that you can do anything, but not all things are good for you. So when you get that confirmation in the negative, that is confirmation. That's probably something that you shouldn't be doing. So when you say walk into fire and what I was talking about, I gave you 3 examples. I gave you 1, the health rate and the disease rate. I gave you 2, the poverty rate. And I gave you 3, the oppression and suicide rate. So that's what I mean as walking into fire.
Okay, so look, so watch this. Again, so when we're talking about being on mainstream now, it's going to shift the paradigm just a little bit. And the reason why I say that is because, again, that the suppression that takes place that used to be is now going to alleviate people, because now it's going to be upfront for everybody to be who they are, right? So again, when you talk about saying there are consequences that we have when we sin, it could be a physical consequence, not you are, because you are killing yourself off from who you want to be, which is why they are now opening up for the people to be who they want to be.
Right. So my question to you, Lawan, is the same question. When your child wants to be a liar and a thief, why aren't we opening up the channels for your child to be who they want to be?
Kareem, my son can lie to me all day, right? When he comes into his own understanding of how that is going to affect him, if he lives forever, that's my son. I put my son in the driver's seat all the time. So, but you're associating lying and stealing and all these negative connotations with sexual preference. Those are 2 scales.
They're 2 different things.
I understand that. You see, your sexual preference is your sexual preference, right? But I just come from the background, right?
Argument.
Okay. So when your sexual preference is a choice, though, right?
No, not necessarily. Not for some people.
What you
Hold
prefer.
on, wait. All right, what you said, it's your nature.
Right. It's your sin nature.
Okay.
I've already explained
Is it all right if I jump in now?
Yes,
please do. Please do.
What's up to everybody first and foremost? What's going on?
What's up? Hey.
So my question for you, Kareem, was are you married?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So are you in a relationship?
Yeah, like my personal business, I'm in a relationship, but I ain't finna go too far into my personal business. And all
that's cool. Oh, okay. Yeah. So the next question would be, are you celibate?
No.
Okay. So
but we've already established.
Okay,
that.
hold on. I want to explain why I asked that question, because I watched your podcast, and from what I could see, the basis of your whole argument was that homosexuality falls outside of Bible standards. Okay, so when you look at the word fornication, and the root word that it comes from is a Greek term porneia, it literally covers all sexual activity outside of a man and his wife. So the fire you talking about people walking in, you standing in it.
Okay, I gave you you said that it's coming from biblical. I gave you a very clear of exactly what I was talking about. And I can go back into the three things. I went into the statistics and I told you that's what the fire was that I was talking about. So,
okay. So again, you mentioned earlier a couple of times and on your podcast that your viewpoint stems from a biblical foundation. Is that true?
My standpoint comes from a biblical foundation. Yeah, as far as a man and a woman, should be together. It comes from a biblical standpoint, and it comes from a natural standpoint.
Do you think fornication is a sin?
Yes.
Okay, so biblically, fornication is described as any sexual activity outside of a man and his wife.
Right.
So I guess what I'm getting at is this here, because you even said this on your podcast, about not trying to tell somebody about the straw that's in their eye before you remove the rafter from your own. So even though what you're saying from a biblical standpoint is accurate, it's kind of like you got to clean up your own backyard first, because you exist in a situation where basically you commit fornication on a regular basis, so you ain't really got freedom of speech on the matter. Even though your viewpoint may be biblically correct, it's not in good taste for you to be the spokesman, because you're guilty of something that falls under the same umbrella of fornication. You see what I'm saying?
I respect your opinion on that. And
it's not an opinion. I just told you what the Bible says fornication means. That's not my opinion. That's not my opinion.
And that's what happens. That's what happens a lot. Hey, I appreciate you, King. That's what happens a lot. People use the Bible, they use different things to say what they need to say, but then when you bring it back to them full circle, then all of a sudden it's opinion. Right. My king here, Kareem, used the Bible as a way to validate his argument. I respect that. I respect him. That's what he want to use. I've been getting that all my life. And we've all on this podcast have had somebody with a Bible that was written by man back when, and use that to establish their opinion and their reasoning. But then when you turn it around and you use that same source of information to say, hey, wait a minute, just like you did, King, I don't have your name on here, but just like you did, then all of a sudden, wait a minute, hold up, back up. It don't work anymore. So
okay, but you didn't allow me to address it. I didn't say it don't work.
No. Hold on. That's why I said we, in our community, for so long, have used the Bible. The Bible has been used to keep us as slaves. So are we supposed to continue? We continue to use the Bible. We use the Bible for when it's necessary for us to push what we want to push. And then when it comes back to us, to that person, then all of a sudden it's like, no, wait a minute. Let me fall back on this. Let me fall back on that. Talk to me. That's why I said, don't just go off of facts, stats, who say what, whatever. You and I have a conversation. I'm a human being. I'm a person. I get to love who I want to love, in wedlock, out of wedlock, girl, boy, whoever, other than children, because I'm not, I don't, other than children, talk to me. And when we stop doing that in our community, we hurt each other, we kill each other, and we need to be each other's allies instead of fighting against each other. We need to be each other's allies, because there's a war coming on, and they're gonna care if I'm gay, straight, who I'm sleeping with, or whatever. They just gonna look at the color of my skin, and they're gonna pick me off based off the color of my skin, not because I have a right.
All right,
We'll all be in the same boat then.
I do want to hear your response though, Kareem. I do want to hear your response.
Yeah, exactly.
But I want to say, because I know it's some people on here that don't know me. I'm Tavon, Valley Uno, whatever you want to call me. But I want to make it clear that even though I came in here and spoke about what the Bible says, I'm not somebody that stands on that. I don't push that, rep that, believe in that, none of it. I just, because it life experiences, I got a reasonable amount of knowledge about it. But I'm not pushing that at all. It was just something that I felt like I could speak on. But that's not what I stand for, though.
Yeah. So to address that, for one, we are all together. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I just anybody could feel a way about how I feel. You see what I'm saying? And usually, they start saying you a homophobe or something like that because you feel how you feel and you stand strong on how you stand. Or they say that we against each other because I'm saying what I'm saying. All I'm doing is presenting the facts based on how the facts is. I didn't make these statistics. You could say that these are white folks' statistics, but these are the statistics that are available to us. Now, to address your point, Valley Uno, you are absolutely right. I don't think I will never be at a point where there's no sin that I don't do at some point. You know what I'm saying? Because they say that even if you think something, it could be a sin, right? So I never came on here to judge nobody, right? Or I never came on here to indict nobody or nothing like that. I'm making my viewpoints heard. So because I sin, right? Because I fornicate, right? That doesn't mean that I can't say that a murderer shouldn't be a murderer, or that if you a thief, that's a bad thing. You see what I'm saying? So I disagree. Oh, hold on. I'm not finished. So I disagree with your viewpoint. On the other end of that, also, you mentioned and you asked me a specific question to point me out, right? And you mentioned fornicate, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not out here asking nobody to celebrate my fornication. I'm not out here asking nobody to be okay with my fornication. I'm not asking nobody. I'm not putting my fornication on the television and talking about it to your children for the children to see. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'm not out here talking about we should celebrate fornication month. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I'm talking about it, because there's a thing called, because again, we looking at it, we trying to justify this sin or this thing that we clearly see has all these negative effects in the physical. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm talking about that. Now, if you want to talk about fornication and all of these other things, I've clearly said on my podcast that these all things are sin. These all things is equal. You see what I'm saying? So
okay.
I feel like there definitely needs to be celebration. It's like when we celebrate blacks in February. It's like when we celebrate Asians. Like, and I feel like people who are not gay or lesbian, just who are secure in their sexuality should be speaking. Should not be speaking on our experience. It's like you trying to speak on an experience of an Asian person. You don't know their mindset. You don't know what they go through. You don't know their experiences. So why even bother trying to impose your views on something you don't understand? Because you don't, and it doesn't seem like you're trying to come from a place of understanding, because you're very defensive about everything and not really taking in, like legitimately, no matter how many people will tell you we did not choose to be this way. It's just the way we are. We all go through because.
Well, I mean, if you look, I'm a very factual person. So if you made an agreement, if you made an argument, and you said, okay, well, this is look across the board. The scientists are saying like she said that she had a document that said that there's a homosexual gene. Now you can find me one little document, right? But now if across the board the scientists are saying that, then I would tend to agree with you. But Larry, I would like to ask you. You said I'd like to ask you why.
Why what?
You just made a statement, and I would like to ask you why. Why should we not be able to
just celebrate it?
Yeah, why should we celebrate it? That was the question. Yeah.
Why do we celebrate Black History Month? Why do
Yeah,
you say
it's to celebrate the freedom of the shackles being removed. The same reason why there's Juneteenth, the same reason why there's Black History Month, the same reason why it's Martin Luther King Day.
Right,
It's
I understand
to
that,
celebrate
but I
the
wanted to
shackles
ask
being removed, so to
somebody
speak.
that was in the homosexual community specifically to see what his answer was and where he come from with it. My thing was again, because I addressed that in the podcast when I was saying that I feel like we celebrate Black people as in again, because I see it comes from a different foundation. So we celebrate Black people because Black people was it was oppressed because of who they were, and they didn't have a choice to be who they
That
were.
is the very definition.
You see what I'm saying?
of
Exactly. That's what
Black
being
people don't
gay
have a
is.
choice.
We are oppressed. We have
Black
always been
people don't have a
oppressed.
choice. You have a choice. It's a sexual.
I don't, and that's what
the
you're
word
imposing.
in
You're
itself,
imposing that
you
view,
can't
and you're
say-
not gay. Are you
You
gay?
can't say
Are you
sexual
gay?
preference. The word in itself, preference, suggests that it's a choice, right? The word
I'm
preference. in itself
okay.
suggests that
Okay,
it's a
I'm sorry.
choice.
I'm not trying to cut you off, but like
Hey,
the conversation is the conversation is dead now. I got everything I need to get from you. You say it's a choice. You're in a panel of people who are telling you it's not a choice. And
but you haven't given me any proof. You're just
we
saying
are
it's,
the
it's
statistics
not a
that you
choice.
were looking for. We're telling you this is how we were born.
Well, but first you saying that everybody on this panel already went and said that first of all that they were sleeping with the opposite sex and that they liked it the opposite sex, and then that somewhere there was some confusion. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere there was some confusion, and then
I never said confused.
I never said anything about confused.
But Larry, you haven't gave me one credible reason why we should celebrate your sexuality. You see what I'm saying? Because I gave an example in the civil rights movement. They said that there was an African American male who was a homosexual who was a major part of that movement. What I was saying is that we can celebrate him for the individual that he is, but what does that have to do with his sexual preference? Because he was a homosexual.
Because we were oppressed for so long, now we finally have a voice. So let's celebrate that we can.
Black people were oppressed for so long.
Exactly, and we
celebrate just like when we celebrate shit, the white people, because I mean, in all actuality, I think that's you're not recognizing that your statements, like you're mirroring the type of shit that white people say when they see us celebrating our Black shit.
But the
Why
only
do we
difference,
gotta celebrate it? Well, motherfucker, we didn't say we.
Why do they
need
deserve
to
a whole
celebrate it.
month?
It's not a group. If homosexual people want to celebrate their homosexuality, why does it bother somebody who's not homosexual? That's the part I don't understand. Why are you bothered by it? It shouldn't even matter to you. It's no different than if my neighbor celebrates his motherfucking anniversary with his chick. It's the same shit.
That's not different. You don't see how Black people didn't have a choice but to be Black. Maybe I would choose to be something else, or maybe somebody else.
Right there, you just said it.
Thank you.
Hey, can we circle back to the agenda piece?
You have a choice.
Okay, I'm not trying to bully the mic. I'm literally on the job. I'm 22 minutes into my 30-minute break. And I wanted to circle back to the agenda piece because I think that's an important topic, but I'm coming at it from a totally different perspective. You know, all you got to do is go on social media, news outlets, whatever. You know what I mean? You hear people having conversations like we having right now. It's a bunch of Black folks on here going back and forth about why this should or shouldn't be acceptable. You see Black people going back and forth about why women shouldn't think like this and men shouldn't think like that. Rich nigga, broke nigga, bad bitch, ugly bitch. The agenda is separation between us over this fickle ass bullshit that we arguing about. That's the agenda.
So you saying it's fickle when I already gave you I gave you
so
statistics.
The reason why I said it's fickle is because everybody on here is guilty. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody. I can't speak for everybody. I know I am, and we know you are guilty of the fornication that is the basis of your argument. So now that's what makes it fickle. And then you said that was my opinion, and when I asked you to explain how, you never did.
That don't have one don't have nothing to do with the other. You trying to say because one person fornicate, they can't say that murder is bad, fornication is bad.
Yeah, no, that's real. That's real. Charles Manson don't get to come talk shit to Jeffrey Dahmer. Charles Manson don't get to come talk shit to Jeffrey Dahmer. He don't get to be like, hey, nigga, you killed all them people.
Exactly. That's my point.
He don't get to say that. That's somebody else's statement.
Exactly. Is we shouldn't celebrate none of it.
No. We ain't celebrating it. That's the point. Like, for instance, no, we're not. I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't celebrate my birthday. I'm not mad when other people do it, though. I don't give a fuck.
Yo, I need all your social.
Pride Month is at Target on the kids' clothes. So
What's that now?
Celebrating it. Pride Month is in Target on the kids' clothes. So we are
so
celebrating it as a nation.
So what?
Your home,
that's the big question. Like,
okay, so you said something about it being inserted into cartoons earlier. You said something about it being inserted into cartoons. As far back as I could remember, on Tom and Jerry, Tom was always trying to knock him a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, sexuality been existed in cartoons. It just was a sexuality that did not offend you. And that's the point that I'm trying to make.
Pepe Le Pew was always trying to
Pepe Le Pew stayed trying to get him some soft patch, but nobody gave a damn. Nobody batted an eye.
That was basic, natural.
Back to the natural.
I think what I would really want to leave with, because like I said, I only got a few more minutes. You know what I mean? And not to say that this conversation ain't important. I don't want nobody to think that that's what I was getting at. I'm just saying that we gotta arrive at a place.
So I want to address that agenda real quick before you make your point.
Okay, hold on. Because like I said, I only got a few more minutes. I can hear you after I tap out. But what I'm saying is, I think we got to arrive at a place where we can embrace each other the same in spite of our differences. If your differences are not a threat to my well-being, I shouldn't give a fuck. I should see you with the same measure of respect as if I didn't even know there was a difference between us.
And I do see everybody with the same respect, and I give everybody the same respect. So that's the narrative that you try to push when somebody has. See, that's the narrative that y'all try to push when somebody stand on their viewpoints. And then you start talking about differences and who against who. No, I'm just standing on my viewpoints and what I believe in. That's what I'm doing. But as far as the agenda is concerned, we can go deeper into the agenda about how, because you say there's no agenda, but we can go deeper into the agenda about the feminization of the African American male. We can go into that. You know what I'm saying? We can get really deep with this shit if we talking about agendas, and to sit there and act like none of this don't exist when it's been in the history that they've been trying to do this for a long time is ridiculous. You see what I'm saying? So when they starting to put this in the schools, we act like we don't see this.
It's always been in the schools. It's always been. Trust me, it was just hidden. It was just hidden. It was always in the school. Like I said, maybe the young man just came on the same. It was always in the school. There was gay people in my school. You know, it was always in the school. It's just that the only difference is we didn't know. We didn't know, and it hid people. And so the suicide rate that you're speaking of is because the kids were so oppressed because they didn't want to come out. They thought they were going to get kicked out of their homes. They were murdered. And so it was always hid.
They're being murdered.
And then another
statistic. It was always there, Kareem. It was always there. You know, it's just it was hid. It was always there. So now that
another
it's
statistic to back up what I'm saying,
everybody feels threatened. Everybody feels threatened when in actuality, instead of learning about it, it's trying to learn about it and talk to people. Learning about it and talking to people. Individuals they hide behind numbers and then they try to crucify people.
Right. You can argue with me all you want, right? But you can't argue with statistics. You can't argue with
Kareem, do you have any family members that are gay?
Yeah, I got a lot of people I know. I got a lot of people I have respect for. A lot of people that
I'm saying like family members.
Yeah.
You got family members that are gay?
How many times do I have to repeat this?
I mean, you've been repeating yourself all night. Don't act like it's a problem now.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't hear you, obviously. Is that a yes or a no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I just was wondering about that. Because you kept going to the statistics. So, like, the shit I'm thinking about when it comes to people being gay is because it's motherfuckers who I love regardless that's gay.
Me
so,
too.
Like, that's why I don't understand why you're going to the statistics if you have actual, tangible experiences that you can go off of. Why are we even talking about statistics?
I already gave you my point on that, because I'm talking about what it's doing to the African American community. That's why I stand against it, because you are having a happy, jolly time in your lifestyle is great for you. But if it's affecting my community overall in a negative way, then
So you feel that being
okay, real quick, because you was just talking and he was talking. I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna let everybody talk. Let me give you one more statistic. The last statistic, right? The last statistic, and you can look this up and fact check these statistics. The African American community is in a present state of genocide, right? It's a genocide taking place as far as the abortion rate. You understand what I'm saying? So we, at this point, we are killing more of our babies than we are reproducing babies, right? So look it up. So our reproduction rate is 2.3%, but because we killing so many babies, we only reproducing at 1.8%. On top of that,
that doesn't sound like a gay issue.
They have the agenda to push the homosexual
folks ain't fucking. They can't
agenda
afford it.
into our community and feminize the African American male.
I think the biggest thing on our community ain't really none of that.
Overall, it's not about your individual life. It's not about you as an individual. I don't have no problem with you. If I met you, I would respect you and I would get along with you, as long as you got along with me and respected me.
There's more African American men in prison today than there was enslaved in 63 it was, or some shit like that. That's a bigger issue to me.
That's a huge issue.
I just think that's a bigger issue, because at the end of the day, hear me out. At the end of the day, strong families make strong communities. If we ever gonna build our community, we have to build the family structure, which means regardless of whether we agree with it or not, we gotta understand that your lifestyle might be one that I don't participate in. You're still an integral part of this family. Period.
Absolutely. And that's a huge absolutely. That's a huge issue, and we need to talk about that issue. But guess what? When we start talking about black on black crime, and when we start talking about that shit, I'm not gonna say, well, look at this. It's all these other things that we could talk about. No, let's talk about that, because that's what we own. It's Pride Month right now.
No, I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying it's a separatist argument, though. It's an argument it's divisive. You know what I mean? It has the ability to separate us further. And the shit you're mentioning, that's why I said I agree with there being an agenda, but I don't think the agenda is just let's insert gayness into the minds of people. I think the agenda is what it has been ever since the motherfuckers sailed over here and found us here. Damn, we just broke free from these niggas last year, and they over here too. We not going for that shit again. It's about breaking us down. That's why all of our culture, all that shit was stripped away from us systematically for a reason. They put science into breaking apart the black family, and then they insert,
so
there's all this little shit. There's all this little shit that makes us different as individuals, and we want to sit and talk about that instead of sharpening our blades and loading our guns, so to speak.
And so
you know what I mean? Like, there's more important shit to discuss, is all I'm saying.
Breaking up the black family, but then you say that you okay with that lifestyle when that's the main thing that's doing is taking the father out of
I don't think it's the main thing. I don't think it's the main thing at all. It might be a factor, but it definitely ain't the main thing.
I don't think that's sexual.
I don't think it's the main thing either. I don't think it's the main thing. I don't think we should make that point.
Are comparable at all. Like I don't think.
But I don't even think that we should make that point. That's not the only thing that we should be talking about, because that's not the only thing that anybody talks about or that I talk about, or that's not the only thing I'll point out or nothing like that. So you know what I'm saying? We're just talking about that because this is Pride Month. This is the subject.
Right. And but when they say it's Pride Month, it's just like when we say I'm black and I'm proud. It doesn't mean we expect everybody else to join in with us. It's the same thing with Pride Month. Them being vocal about them being proud in their lifestyle. So what?
Okay, great.
What's the problem?
So then why is it damn near a national holiday? That's my question.
There's some white man in Arizona right now that feels the same way about a black holiday.
I know. Why does that matter?
Worldwide holiday.
Sexual preference. We've already broke it down. Everybody on here said they had a sexual preference. Why do I have to celebrate somebody's sexual preference?
Okay. I think that's the point that you're missing. You don't have to.
If I walk in a Target and it's Pride Month on the kids' clothes, if it's on the commercials, that
Don't
means
buy the clothes.
Don't buy the clothes. It's not for your kids. If you don't want to put it on your kids, don't do it.
I'm too old. I got my blood pressure up.
I gotta get back on the road, y'all. I'm out. I'm gonna keep watching though.
Appreciate you, Valley.
All right.
I have a question for everybody on panel, right? Who knows the #1 killer of Black people?
I think it's like heart disease.
Heart
like heart
disease.
disease, yeah.
Right.
Heart disease.
So I think that, if it's something that we really care about in the sense of like, oh, we want to uplift and we want our people to do better, we need to know how to eat better and how to exercise
We
more.
is educating on that. Absolutely. Most definitely. Without a doubt.
I don't think that I don't think that statistics on how many gay Black people have HIV
Based on
productive to our community. If we're basing our thesis off of, we want our Black community to do better and to thrive as a people, then we need to look at the things that's actually killing them instead of getting on people's nerves, right? Because those are two different.
No, that's a fact. I gave you factual statistics because you're representing other statistics and saying this is a killer too. It doesn't outweigh these other statistics that I'm giving you.
Well,
so if just real quick, if heart disease is killing more people than the people that have HIV, how are you, like, in your mind, what is the gauge for that?
Look.
Like, why are you putting more weight on the smaller one?
I'm not trying to make, so we all got to get back on the same page. Look, there's heart disease is one of the major causes for Black death, right? Black on Black crime is one of the major causes for Black death. My next podcast is on abortion. It's one of the
that's what I was gonna say.
That's actually the biggest cause. That's actually the biggest cause. We can talk about all of those things, right?
To wrap that up, you're just talking about it because it's Pride Month. We got that.
Not only because it's Pride Month, but because it's a issue. I don't have to steer away from. Look, this affects my community. It affects my community in a type of way, and because people celebrate their lifestyle or because they want to live that way, don't mean I have to avoid that topic. I can talk about Black on Black crime. I can talk about abortion. I can talk about all of that, and because there's heart disease doesn't make Black on Black crime not a factor. So because when I start talking about Black on Black crime, don't start talking about heart disease.
Hey, okay. No, so when you again, when I tagged you in this post, because there was your podcast, you said that you did not understand. Right. So instead of and I know a couple of people have mentioned this earlier, instead of going off the statistics, we have people that you can talk to and gain a level of information or understanding right now.
So I was asking Larry.
My question to you would be, do you understand or kind of get a little bit of insight on why that there is a Pride Month?
Well, I understand that people are celebrating it because there was oppression of the homosexual community.
Definitely.
Right? And because that community has been, so now that they are feeling more free, so they say less
feeling more free,
celebrate it. But again, my whole viewpoint was just that it's a sexual preference. So what happens is we start to celebrate sex in itself. That's what we're celebrating. We're celebrating sex because somebody say, okay, I want to be with this person. We're gonna celebrate sex. Why are we separating Pride Month in itself? It's a preference.
Okay, so again, I don't think that you got the understanding because I know it was mentioned a couple times. So again, when you work your 9 to 5 from Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday is going up, right? That's a celebrate work all week, suppressed, and then you celebrate the weekend. It's just that simple. About your celebrating sex, it's not solely based upon sex. Now we're talking about sexual preference, yes, but it's not solely based upon sex. We're talking about somebody that has been people that have been oppressed because they've been suppressed because it wasn't to be who you are. So this is a celebration of self, not about self.
Right. I mean, I understand. I've always. It's not like I'm. So I think it's kind of like Larry said. I've always understood the side. You see what I'm saying? Where y'all coming from, but because we have a different foundational point on it, as far as I believe it's a choice. So it is kind of like Valley Uno was saying. It's kind of like you just go back and kind of go around in circles because I feel like it's a choice. So again, that's what the difference is. I don't feel like a sexual preference should be celebrated because it's just your choice. You see what I'm saying?
And that's okay, because that's one perspective, because you still fail to understand,
right,
as a straight man, that you think it's a choice, and we're telling you it's not.
There's what you call a criminal lifestyle. There's a lot of people who don't. There's a lot of people who live a criminal lifestyle, right? So should we start celebrating that? You see what I'm saying? Because that's how those people
watch this. Yes, you should.
It's just homophobia. It's just homophobia at its finest, honestly.
Wait. You're living a criminal lifestyle, and you are jailed for living that lifestyle. You are free to now do whatever. When you come home, my nigga, you are having a celebration.
Right, but we're not celebrating the lifestyle still. But we're still not celebrating the lifestyle in itself. That's going to lead you back to jail. Or
Listen to what I just said. Listen to what I just said.
Okay.
When you are in a jail, right? That means you're not free to do what you want to do.
Right. And then you get out.
People was not free to do what they wanted to do openly, right? So now that they're open to do it and they're free, they're going to celebrate it. It's just that simple.
Right. But understand what I just said. Now follow me. They're still not celebrating the lifestyle of being a criminal because people understand that celebrating the lifestyle of a criminal is kind of going to lead you back into jail. I'm saying the lifestyle of a criminal and leading you back into jail because I'm comparing it to leading you into those three categories I was talking about when I was talking about.
Okay, right there. Okay, now I get what you're saying. So you're saying when you start being open about your sexual preference, it's going to put you back into a suppression.
I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, but
what are we talking about?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how you worded that, but I will say one thing. You have to get an understanding.
I get backdoored you real quick.
One thing I will say is that nobody on here can give me any, and I was asking Larry specifically, why should we celebrate? I understand that you're saying just because y'all think that we should celebrate it because those people was oppressed, and you know
the same way we celebrate. We celebrate African Americans.
But can we give
Asian Americans?
Is there any
Were we
type
supposed to
of
stop being black after we started celebrating?
Is there any type of statistics? Is there any type of statistics, or it is kind of numbers, or any kind of thing that
I genuinely you will need credible sources. Going through college, like statistics can be manipulated in any kind of ways. Just like what is that word for like in politics? I don't really pay attention to politics, but there's a word when they start like recreating the lines to get certain statistics for polls to make people win. It's just like that. So unless you have the credible sources of honest, true open sources for these statistics.
Larry, I'll say this to you because you said this is the true definition of homophobic. Like I've heard
I didn't say true definition. I just said at its finest.
Right,
because your actions are like.
So let me tell you why
you come here for an understanding.
Let me educate you, brother, and let me tell you why it's not. And this is often what happens when people like me take a standpoint and say how we feel, right?
You're free to, and what's crazy is because you're perceiving me. Hold on, real quick. Background. I dated a boy, super conservative. I'm super liberal. I'm honestly so open. We ended up middle ground. You're not gonna pawn me off as somebody that's like, oh, your views are different than me, homophobic. You come here taking up all the panel time, talking about your belief and why you believe so strongly without being open to. You keep saying, and I know you're not open to it because you keep saying, how are you saying as a straight man that this is a choice just because of how you perceive us? You're not us. You can't say it's a choice.
When I said, can you present some evidence to me that it's not a choice, that it wasn't just a choice? Because
we all your evidence. Everything on this panel is your evidence.
Right. We're trying to have a conversation.
That's what you're saying, though. That's what you're saying. But we all understand that but you also said it was your preference, which means it was your choice.
Did you even bother looking into conversion therapy?
Right.
And the whole mess of that and how it's so unsuccessful and how people kill themselves out there because they can't change.
What happens in a child is you have a thought and you see look, I talk to girls all the time, right? I talk to females all the time, and a lot of females, when they are young, they hump each other and they do all this kind of stuff. Straight girls, straight women. This is across the board. I'm not saying it happens to everybody, but a lot of times it happens with straight women, and women hump each other and they do all kind of stuff when they little girls, right? And they have these experiences. And that doesn't mean that little girl is gay. You see what I'm saying? So for somebody to say, oh, this is just the way that I am. No, it was a thought, or it was a, what you call a, what's the word?
It wasn't a thought though.
Like, you see what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that you have to go with that temptation because you are tempted. It's called sin nature. You see what I'm saying? Because you are tempted to steal doesn't mean that you are a thief. It's just that with the homosexual community, we put the you are born this way. You see what I'm saying? So it's safe to say, oh, it's okay. And now we can walk you into this lifestyle.
Who they are.
I feel like you're blindly following a religious basis that you don't even understand. Like, did you guys know that Christmas was actually a stolen pagan holiday?
Okay, Jesus.
Stolen pagan
Let's say
holiday.
Jesus ain't real or something like that. That doesn't neglect the fact of what we're talking about. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can go into
how it doesn't, because you're saying that it's based in
the basis,
sin.
then it should matter.
You keep saying it's based in sin, which is based in religion.
And the Bible never said that homosexuality was wrong.
It says you shall not lay with a boy.
As in, you shall not be a pedophile. It was actually changed in 1946.
To fit a narrative, to suppress.
Exactly.
Can anyone on the panel give me
right
any
before they
facts
shot HIV into the communities?
Any kind of
they just gave you a source out of the Bible.
Kareem, what is your fear? What is your fear, Kareem?
I don't have any fears as far as what,
you do.
As far as what? I got a fear of God, and I got a fear of certain things, but as fear as what? So see, that's what I'm talking about. So again, that's what I was going to explain to Larry. That's what I was going to explain to Larry. So now I got a fear. See, anytime anybody.
No, she asked you if you had a fear. She didn't say you got a fear.
But then she said I do.
What is it?
She said I do. So anytime somebody stands on their viewpoints, you get attacked. You get called a homophobic. Now I got fear.
Right there.
You lead into something else. You
already.
Sexuality.
So when you say that,
no, that's not true. If we were attacking you, the panel would say, "Hey, we don't want to hear what you have to say." If you were attacking, that's the true meaning of that. The host could be like, "Look,"
and when you call me a homophobe, you call me a homophobe.
No, he didn't. He didn't call you a homophobe. He said what you're saying is that is what homophobes use as their basis to bash, kill. That's what he was saying. He didn't call you.
So
a
now we playing.
He was saying
semantics.
the rhetoric that you're speaking is considered a homophobe. It's just like it's just
in
like
the Bible,
racist. It's just like when racist said, "Oh, the first thing racist say." The first thing racist say, "Oh, I'm not racist. I don't like."
Why are we listening to the Bible?
You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm not racist, but I want the white community to be all.
So to be a homophobe means that you are. So to be a homophobe actually means that it actually means that you are
afraid.
That you, don't like somebody because of their sexual preference. I don't dislike anybody for who they sleeping with. This is what you got to understand. The second part of being a homophobe means that you are prejudiced against somebody because of preconceived notion or because of an experience. I don't have any preconceived notions based on
experience being
everything I'm saying is based on reason. I'm giving you actual evidence and I'm giving you statistics and reason of why I feel the way that I feel. It don't have nothing.
So you believe all the statistics that you have vetted all your statistics, and you believe all your statistics that you're saying on this podcast. You are 100% sure that the statistics that you are basing your theory on is 100% accurate.
Crystal, let me give you why I believe that.
I've looked at a couple on my end and they're not matching up.
That's a simple yes or no.
I mean, but you kind of can't make me answer.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Say yes or no. Either you say yes or no. I'm asking you if your statistics that you are basing your theories on is correct and accurate.
I have checked and rechecked the accuracy of my sources.
So you believe them. So you believe them 100%.
That's a yes.
Look, let me give you another statistic. Let me give you another statistic.
No, you don't have to give me another statistic. You ain't even answering the question.
I already said yes several times. I said yes several times, but you keep talking, right?
I didn't hear you. We didn't hear you. So you said, so you stand on the statistics that you have.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. And some of those statistics are from the CDC, correct?
Another statistic is that the average African American male makes about $20 an hour, right? That's a fact. You can't try to argue with that. That don't mean that you make $20 an hour in your individual life. You might have broke the mold, right? But the average African American male in America makes $20 an hour. So let me answer your question. You asking me, do I believe that this is the reality? Absolutely, this is the reality. That's why these are the statistics. For the general portion of African American males and women who are homosexual, this is the reality. This is the reality of the average African American male. He makes about $20 an hour. Yes, this is the reality. Let me give you one more statistic. Another statistic for African American women who is on the chat and they support the homosexual. Let me give you another statistic. The average, like 80 to 90%. Look it up.
Hey, so Kareem, real quick, as a solution to what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is it, as far as from your perspective, would be the solution in fixing the statistic?
Okay, so I want to give you that last statistic, and I'm answer that question. The last statistic, because I black women specifically, right? Because black women gotta stop being so quick to because I know black women, they come up sometimes, and, you know, they have the gay friend or whatever, and black women is so quick to defend the lifestyle, right? But black women gotta stop, because right now the number one group affected. Y'all don't want to listen to these real facts, right? The number one group that's affected by AIDS is the
black women. Right. And do you know why that is?
Well, hold on, let me give you the rest of the statistics.
That's because of the DLs.
And you can tell me why it is.
Because of the stigma around HIV. We can't allow our black men to be free to be who they are, so they try to hide it. And they're putting our community at risk, because the majority will not respect who we are, and they know that. And it's our own community that does not respect us and allow us the space to be who we are.
The rest of that statistic is that 80 to 90% of the black women who have got AIDS, and they're the highest group that's receiving AIDS right now,
is heterosexual sex.
Got it from heterosexual sex. Exactly what I'm
You're proving my point.
Right. So that's my point.
So
this is why we have to create the space for us to be ourselves. This is why we celebrate for that little black boy to know that he doesn't have to pretend to be something he's not.
No, because guess what? It's like he said, he like women too. Guess what? He like women too. So guess what? People ain't just gay. They like to have sex with men and
That's
women.
True. And then that's when we dig deeper into what's causing this. And that's the lack of healthcare, the lack of cost-efficient healthcare for black communities. There's a bigger role at play here versus just the gay agenda.
Captain
You have to let somebody else talk for you. You have to let somebody else speak, because you can't keep throwing statistics out there and not let anybody refute them, right?
But I was responding to Selfmade though. You gotta see what's happening. I was responding to
Selfmade. You didn't answer my question, bro.
I was trying to, and then she jumped in, and then y'all say I'm taking up the whole floor. That's what happened, because I'm answering a million questions.
All right, yeah. So let's keep some type of order again. Because again, this is passionate, and Kareem, I understand how you're answering questions from all over the board. So we're gonna go with Selfmade real quick, and then Laura been having her hand raised up for a minute. Go ahead. So what was your question?
What is your solution to the statistics? Now, when I ask that, I don't want, you shouldn't go into more statistics. I'm asking your specific solution to what you think is going on as far as what's happening with the statistics. What's your solution to helping?
Okay, so I have to hit the statistic. You know what I'm saying? Because it's crucial.
From your perspective,
Already gave it or whatever, right? Already gave that statistic, right? So my point is just that my point in that is just that we cannot. It's not a like a solve and fix or something like that, right? I don't think that you can fix anybody. We got to continue to work together, right? We got to continue to live together. You see what I'm saying? We got to continue to figure out how to let people like me have my opinions, right? Without you being offended. Because I'm not offended by Pride Month, but I still can question it. You see what I'm saying? I can still question why do we celebrate somebody's sexual preference? You see what I'm saying? You got to understand you got to figure out how to hear somebody like me and what I stand on, because I stand on whatever I stand on. And
we have been listening. And I think you do feel threatened because there's a difference between your disposition
without calling me a homophobe. You see what I'm saying? And attacking my reason that I'm giving you. You feel me? We don't have to agree on reason.
Pause right there real quick.
My reason ain't valid.
So the answer made question was, we just have to let people be people.
So we just have to let people be people. No,
that's what I got from what you said. Well, I didn't get the answer.
Well, in a way, like, so for example, if it's somebody like, so I've had conversations like, I mean, well, let me just say, if it's a person that I know and I care about,
you got to go
like that. Right. I mean, just to be honest with you, if it's somebody, because I don't get in other people's business, like, you know what I'm saying? So if I like, so there ain't no answer for somebody else's business, you know what I'm saying? But
hey, so look, wait, hold on. Look, earlier,
real quick,
wait, real quick, because we can zone it in. We can zone it in though, because earlier Valley Uno had asked you if any of your family members were, gay or lesbian or whatever, and you said yeah, right?
Right.
So do you bring the statistics to them?
Yeah.
And when you do, what's that interaction like as far as like you provide a solution for them?
That's a good question. When I have these one-on-one conversations, and it's never fucking failed, not once.
You're probably intimidating them with your opinions.
Bullying them. With people that's homosexual, whether they friends or family or anyone, they actually all be agreeing with me. They actually all tell me that on the inside.
Do they convert their ways?
No.
Okay, then what
is the solution?
What is the solution, bro? That's all I'm trying to figure out.
If they agree with you, then they would probably change.
If I'm a thief, right? What's the solution for black on black crime? Like, you know what I'm saying?
We're not talking about that. We're talking about.
So it's the same kind of answer though. You saying what's the solution? I mean, you have to work on every individual. It's a conversation.
So Kareem, so your solution, if I'm hearing you correct, would your solution?
I'm not giving any solution.
We don't celebrate Pride. Black women.
That would definitely be off the table.
Okay. Black women don't celebrate their friends that they know that are gay or lesbian.
I don't think you should celebrate anybody for their sexual preference.
No, I'm saying you said earlier that black women shouldn't be okay with their friends being gay or lesbian.
I didn't say that. Let's clear up what I said.
I'm asking you. So I'm listening to what you said because you said we ain't listening to you, but I am listening to you.
We listen.
One, pride shouldn't be celebrated. Two,
right.
In your world, gay, anything that does not man to woman shouldn't be on television for our children to watch.
I didn't say that. I said it shouldn't be on every channel. Every channel.
Okay, it's not on every channel.
Okay, so that's number two. That's number two.
Y'all can have your own TV.
Like you said. So anything that has to do with homophobia or anything like that, or gay, lesbian, or any type of sexual fornication or whatever, you don't feel that should be on television because it corrupts. It could create corruption in a child's mind because they're not wise enough at this point to know what they want. How about that?
Okay, so let me address that exactly. So for the most part, you got it right. But the only part is that I'm gonna just keep it real. For the most part, you got it right. But I don't feel like it should be completely eliminated from TV. You see what I'm saying? I feel like it should be programs for people who don't want to see that type of stuff going on. We should not be able to see it on certain networks. If we don't want to see it, we shouldn't have to see it, right?
Okay.
Like white people shouldn't see blacks on TV when they just want to see themselves being represented.
I got On Demand, and on Demand they got a whole section for like gay TV, and then I don't have nothing I can watch in that TV, so that section ain't for me. I don't like nothing on there. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So that's two. So we worked out. So that's two things. We worked out two things.
Right.
The third thing. I'm trying to cut it down. So we got two things out the way that you would prefer in your world. The third thing is if we eliminated the homosexuality in our community, you feel that our rate of disease, our rate of things, certain things in our community would cease, correct? If we eliminated that.
Let's all make a suicide pact then. Let's all make a suicide pact as gays.
Like myself, if we eliminated people that are on this panel in regards to our preferences, as you call it, that would help our Black community, correct?
Okay, so I mean, first of all,
those are no, Kareem. That's a yes or no, King.
First of all, it's not a yes or no because for one, you're putting words in my mouth. And
I'm not. I asked you. I asked you a
words
question.
in my mouth. For one, you're putting words. Look, you see how you get loud? I can get loud too. For one, you're putting words in my mouth.
I asked you a question.
Right, and I don't have to answer your yes or no because you are putting words in my mouth. So you can't ask me a whole bunch of shit.
No, Kareem, King, earlier in this podcast, you stated that the reason that our Black community is starting to fail is because of HIV. You said
now you're saying, oh, if we eliminated and killed everybody on the panel, come on with the.
No, I'm not saying kill anybody. I'm saying eliminate our preferences.
What I'm saying is
eliminate.
If you go
our preferences,
go by statistical facts, right? If those preferences wasn't going on, then there would be less HIV in the homosexual community to address what Cap and Capricorn, what you was talking about with the as far as the Black women are concerned, right? And I was talking about earlier as far as when we have evidence or when we have confirmation that things have a natural or a physical negative experience. The reason
okay, so you answered my question. So that's the third thing.
Real quick, and I'm gonna let you talk all you want to, real quick.
No, you answered my question. I was saying thank you.
I've been answered your question. The answer is no because you're not even saying nothing I said. So to go into what I was saying, the reason why it's the heterosexual males giving the Black women AIDS. Do you know why that is? The reason for that is because when you have anal intercourse, it's not natural. So your ass don't fucking get wet the same
Why
way.
did God put the G spot in the prostate?
That's why when you have
why did God put the G spot in the male prostate? Why can I ejaculate because somebody hits the prostate in my asshole?
It's more the cancer. This is why men get the CDC website.
Center for Disease
Control.
Control.
Argue with facts. Right, you can't argue with facts.
They aren't facts, baby.
Right, you can't argue with facts.
No, you can't argue with facts.
All right, so
some of those.
Yeah, so Self answered as far as the solution, and there shouldn't be a publicized situation about that's one of the situations. One of the solutions is that we can kind of like eradicate the celebration of and the, I guess you want to say, bringing the awareness to, right?
No, I think that we should all be treated equally. I think that all sins.
That's the one thing you didn't say today. I love. Thank you, King. We should all be treated equal.
Right.
Everybody treats each other equal. We be all we be okay.
We'll be all right. And so what y'all got to remember is that I've never me as an individual. I've never you might not like my rhetoric, but that I've never that don't have nothing to do with me disrespecting a person. See, you might not like my you might be offended. You see what I'm saying? You might be offended by what I say, right? But it's not disrespectful. I don't disrespect people. You see what I'm saying? It's just what I believe. You see what I'm saying?
I appreciate that.
Laura, what were you gonna say? I know you were waiting.
I don't remember, honestly. One thing I do want to say, you guys, but I want to say this on a mature level. I appreciate the dialogue. I appreciate everybody coming on here and being able to and educate you guys. Education is important, right? We were once looked at as animals. We were looked at as different things because people did not know anything about our ethnicity, right? So just that level of being able to educate and say what you feel, how you were born, what statistics may try to prove against it or anything else. You guys are living this. You're living this life into it. I commend that 100% that you're able to come on and concisely explain how you feel, right? Equally, I see, and Mama Marie and I were kind of texting back and forth, but it looks like I see the pastor in the comments. So, pastor, if you want the link to come in,
not the
pastor. Do not have to have your camera on. Is the pastor in the comment? Crystal? Crystal smiling.
A pastor?
Well, the pastor from your church?
No, this is a side conversation, you guys. Side conversation. I'm sorry. I was in the building, but I guess they're not. So I apologize about that.
He's in the chat. He's on. Oh, yes, he is. He's here. He's on the chat.
I want to hear from the pastor. The pastor got the expertise from the Bible. Let's hear it. We need to hear that.
Right. Bring him in. Bring him in.
We need to hear that.
If somebody could give him the link, then it's up.
I know you're not gonna bring a pastor on here talking about the Bible.
Bring the pastor in.
Yeah.
We got to.
The pastor.
Because I want
to. Well, his thing is.
The other girl said she went to church, and I wanted to ask her how did she like go to the.
I wanted her to tell me when the word homosexual was changed as well.
You have to turn your camera on if you don't want to.
Please.
Come in and just drop some knowledge in this. Another thing that was said was that there's, forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, but supposedly there was poverty in the gay community. I kind of looked into that, and statistically, gay men. Again, I'm not here to back anybody. I'm not here to go against anybody. Right? It is proven that gay men are 52% more successful than in the workforce.
Oh, what? Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
Is that why I'm doing a
That's false. That's
Larry
false.
is false.
Is that why I'm a linguist for the NSA and making
one statistic? I'm talking across the board. Like I said, I didn't just do a quick Google search. I've been on this for a long time about the black community and what affects the black community.
Nor did I agree.
Right.
Okay, but wait.
Just said you just did it.
Royal has a point though.
Can I say something,
she really
please?
does.
As a professor, I go in and I cite and I source, Kareem, everything that you looked up, and Benet said it very statistic that is out there. There is a statistic that can refute that as well.
Right.
I purposefully found statistics that refuted every statistic that you had.
What I was
I'm not being talking. I did that intentionally to show data that is out there is insufficient. Just as you can find something to fit how you feel or your agenda, I can equally go in and find something to refute that. Period. I have the same sources. I have scientific publications. I have all kind of different publications. I have them resourced. I have it in APA and MLA format in my email for this show. Data don't mean anything. The real data is on the panel.
The data absolutely does matter, and this panel doesn't reflect, the whole of the community.
But you don't represent the heterosexual community. You don't represent the Christian community.
Let me tell you what happens.
Community. You represent.
Look,
it's like everybody represents themselves. You represent yourself as well. It's all.
This is what I do all the time. I look up data all the time.
Hey, we got pastor in the building. At
this point, it is solely perspective.
No, it's not. It's factual data.
Are you gonna let the pastor talk?
Amundeo. I said that right.
Hello, how are you all?
Hi.
Good in yourself.
Hi. Good to hear from you, Pastor.
Peace.
Please cite your stuff, please.
Can we get some background on the pastor since you're just coming into the building?
Yeah.
What kind of background?
Pastor, if you want to,
Well, everybody else kind of introduce
Give your
themselves.
educational, all that stuff, Pastor.
Background.
Introduce yourself.
Okay. So I am Pastor Dale Edwards. I am a pastor here in Sacramento of a spiritual center called Integrated Praise. I have been in California all of my life. I work for the county of Sacramento as a supervisor. And as stated earlier, I am a trans. Anything else you want to know?
Give your all your titles so he'll know your.
Oh, I have a master's degree in I have a master's degree in divinity. So I have my MDiv, and I'm currently going for my bachelor's degree in social sciences, working towards my doctorate degree.
Oh, yes.
Congrats on that.
And so, and Pastor, are you what's your what's your denomination? Are you Baptist or Catholic, or I didn't hear it if you said it already.
I'm denominational, but I was raised Church of Christ, just so you know.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get from you.
So, Pastor, earlier the gentleman, King Kareem, brothers kings, and I call all my brothers kings, and I call all my sisters queens. He was stating in regards to the Bible, he was specifically citing, the Bible in regards to man laying with women. Am I correct, Kareem?
Yeah. I didn't really give any scriptures out of there, but I was talking about as far as what I felt like was natural, man laying with women. Yeah.
What you said that God said, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That was God's plan, right?
That's what I said. Yeah.
Okay.
And I said that based on biology, right?
Okay.
Hey, well, that's a good question. The firstborn, would this be God's plan, Kareem? Do you think?
Well, I'm saying I made it based on biology. That was my argument. Was based on biology.
I just remember you using God's plan.
Or the Creator's plan, or energy's plan, or whoever.
Energy's plan, whoever you believe in's plan for us is to be man with woman.
I believe that based on the biology. I believe that if we didn't have further technology, and if we wasn't able to do the shit that we can do today, or if that we went back in time, say if
biology given to us by who?
We lose our technology.
Gays existed literally since forever, along with heterosexuals. It's never about that. Let's talk about the Greeks.
To also see the pastor's view on that.
Please.
Yeah, so Pastor, let me ask you directly. Do you think that because me personally, when I think of a Godhead, right, that's in control of person that or being that created everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Safe to say that everything that is in existence is a part of this divine creator's plan.
Of course. Simply because in Genesis, the first and God said that God made man in God's image, created he them. Them not meaning two, them meaning multiple. The Bible only specifies male and female, but them don't mean two. But there was multiple people, diversities of God that was created in the world, and God said it was good.
Pastor,
so nothing that lives,
nothing
that exists can exist if God did not design it or predestine it to exist the way that it exists.
Can I ask a question to that, Pastor?
Sure.
Doesn't the Bible also say not to add or take anything away from it? So when they said they,
and the Bible doesn't say that. The Bible there's scripture in the Bible that says that. The church said that, but the Bible say that.
So in the Bible, that's not in the Bible.
That's not in the Bible. No.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you this. Let me ask it this way then, because I don't got my Bible in front of me. Did you add that? Because in the Bible, what it says is it says they, and then it talks about when it says they, it goes further a little bit later on, and it clarifies the they that they were talking about, which was woman and man. So if you put in any other genders or anything in between there, I would say that that's an add, is all I would say.
Well, again.
So
the Bible,
explain intersex, Kareem, please. Explain intersex.
Okay, so I can explain that to you, sir.
Let Pastor answer his question.
Let him finish. But I would love to explain. Let's keep intersex on the topic because I would love to hit that.
The Bible does not say that you cannot add or take away. So I don't feel like what I did was going against the Bible because there's no scripture in the Bible that says do not add or take away. So let's just get that off the table. Secondly, I didn't add. I said the Bible says created he them. That's what it said. And what I inferred was that them means that most them not mean two. He would have said created them both. But he didn't say both. He said created he them, which can give speculation that there was more
I get what you're saying.
Okay, so all I did was, because remember, the book was written by men anyway. So interpretation, after being interpreted from language to language to language over 2,000 years, have changed, has evolved. So no one really knows what the exact text when it was first written said. We're making assumptions.
Okay, I hear your point of view. That was a good one. I like that. Okay, so in Deuteronomy 4:2, Moses declares, "You shall not add to the word which I am commanding you, nor take away from it, that you may keep the commands of the Lord your God, which I command you." So that's what I was talking about. So it seems like that is in the Bible, and you just admitted that you did add that. So I did want to ask you another question though, as far as in the Bible.
I did not add that.
Okay, go ahead.
I did not add that. And the Bible that they're talking about was not the same Bible that we're reading.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question as far as direct things that it says on homosexuality in the Bible. Now, in the Bible, there was you're a pastor, so I'm sure you can tell me what I'm talking about, right? But in the Bible, there's a part in it, and it explains how people had like kind of turned their back on God, right? And when they turned their back on God, God left them to their own wickedness. And in that wickedness, out came all type of immorality, sexual immorality, and a lot of other things. Why, when the Bible is describing wickedness, why would it specifically go into a sexual preference being homosexuality if homosexuality is okay? What do you tell your congregation?
Okay, so first of all, and I don't want to go this. I know this podcast is not going to be a Bible study, and I don't want to go into. I don't debate the Bible, nor do I.
I'm not asking you to. I'm just asking for a question for understanding and trying to figure out how does your congregation and any other homosexual be okay with it if they're a Christian?
Let me finish, because I will stop because I'm not going to argue.
I'm trying to get an understanding, brother. You can stop all you want to, and I done made myself very clear. I'm just asking a question for understanding.
I understand, but if I can't finish the answer, you won't get the answer right. So I just need to finish. Okay, so the Bible that you're speaking of talk about that based on an interpretation that was given, because it really doesn't say homosexual. Why? The word homosexual was not even in the Bible or even a word back then. If we're looking back 20,000 years ago, the word homosexual did not come out until the 60s.
It gives a description, though, brother. It gives a description of what those sexual imperversions were. It says what they were. It says that men started to like women, and women took after they. It describes it, brother. Come on.
Where's it describe it at?
You don't have that verse, brother. You don't know where to go to. What I'm talking about, Pastor.
Yeah, but it doesn't describe it.
It said that women turn to what does it say? It said that they turn to their own use.
A man shall not lie with boy.
Right? It said they turn to their own sexual use. It described the perversions that was sexual.
No, what that scripture was talking about? It says men shall not lie with men.
Brother, you just said that other verse wasn't in the Bible, and I just went to Deuteronomy. It was in the Bible. So, like, I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna jump off of here, and I'm gonna say this, And I would question because you just told me I hit you within 10 seconds of talking to you. You told me something was in the Bible, and I just went to Deuteronomy and pulled it up for you. So I would say that you need to go back to Bible school, get your master's again, and really check your facts before you be on here saying that you a pastor and you know what you're talking about. Straight up.
Just disrespectful.
Disrespectful. I'm talking about facts. The man. I'm talking about real facts. He a pastor. He told me that verse was not in the Bible. I just
You ain't gave him a chance to tell you
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm telling him to go back to the Bible and check his facts. Go back to school because the man just told me that wasn't in the Bible, and he tried to check me like I didn't know what I was talking about. Come on,
I think he misunderstood your question because as soon as you asked that question, is that particular thing in the Bible? I think that you kind of was talking fast and where he didn't catch that. I know that the Bible says that. The Bible says you should not add or take away from the word. I knew what you was talking about, but I think he missed what you said.
That's why I'm not being disrespectful. It's based on reason. You see, before y'all throw out these words, my reasoning is that he misquoted the Bible and he told me that something was not in there. So when I say what I say,
you telling him that he needs to go back to school.
That's what you would need to go back to biblical school. If you don't know that basic thing is in the Bible, then you need to go back to biblical school. Absolutely.
Real quick.
You don't let him finish.
Real quick. When it came down to what he was saying that the words may have been flipped throughout the duration of the recreation of the Bible.
Never recreated it.
You understand what I'm saying? So there's a big level of miscommunication.
LaJuan, let me tell you what he said. He said that he doesn't realize because he doesn't really have thorough knowledge of the Bible. So when I was talking about that scripture, which he cannot point out, because most pastors, when I'm talking about the scripture, he should be able to take me to it, right? But since he can't do that, he doesn't know that it gives detail on the sexual impurities that it's talking about. So there's no in between about it talking about homosexuality. It also talked about incest. There's no in between there because it describes it. Is all I'm saying. So if you don't know that, then you should go back to biblical school, right? If you don't know what 2 + 2 is, go back to math, right? And get your mathematics, your foundation right. And then come back to me later on.
Pastor, can you answer this young man's question and hopefully he won't cut you off?
Can I ask what scripture was being read? I heard Deuteronomy, but can I get the verse, the chapter and the verse?
Deuteronomy was the old one I was talking about as far as if it says something should or should not be added to the Bible.
What's the verse though? Do you have the chapter and the verse?
I Googled it real quick and because I knew it was in the Bible and it popped up. I don't feel like Googling it again. You can Google it though.
Okay.
But
Pastor, you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What was that? I was researching something. What was that question? Sorry.
Can you finish your statement? Hopefully, and King Kareem, let him finish his statement.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm gonna go back because I wanted to make sure I understood what was being said. So I did not interpret the text to say that. What the text was talking about, what the prophet was telling the people, or God was telling the prophet, do not take away the words that God in that moment was giving them, not the Bible or the text, the written book. In other words, when God was speaking to him, said, don't ask what I'm saying to give you, or don't take away what I'm telling to give you. Say it like I tell you to say it, is what that scripture's talking about. It's not talking about the book Bible. That's the first thing. Second thing is that every text in the Bible that talks about homosexuality or inappropriate way in which you're supposed to have sex, you got to look at the history. When the only time the Bible talks about anything sexual, it says that people perceive homosexual. It says, don't let men lie with men the way they lie with women. The reason why they said that is because in the Bible, the older men used to rape the boys, and women were considered property. If you're going to have sex with a boy or a man, you had to ask his permission. You could not rape him. That's why he said, don't lie with men, meaning don't just take advantage of a boy. You have to get his permission. But for a woman, you can rape her. That's
right. I'm aware of that, actually. I know exactly what you're talking about, but that's not the verse that I'm talking about. But I know what you're talking about, and you're correct in that area that you're talking about.
Okay, so what are you talking about then?
I'm talking about, okay, let me just go ahead and pull it up if I can. If I could, like, like I said, I'm not able to just hit verses and just go straight to it. So
I'm here for it.
but y'all could hit something else while I look that up.
Okay.
Miss Royal, it has to be a boy because honestly, it was based on like the Middle East geographically and learning a lot about the Middle East culture as an Arabic linguist. It's still prevalent today. Men with what are called T-boys. There's a lot that goes on in the world, to be honest. Sorry, so I'm just reading comments.
Oh, you're reading the comments.
But yeah, it's like still like to this day super common for men to have sex with underage boys.
That's hella nasty.
Yeah,
Right.
and marry underage girls. Like girls get sold off still as property in the Middle East, like 8-year-olds and stuff.
Lord can
It's super
attest in our
prevalent.
culture that women are still sold as if they are property.
I think
that is
I read
still
a thing
happening
about
today.
I've been seeing it.
Yeah,
They still
44
pay
states.
for them,
44 states
and they
allow
pay for their
underage
virginity.
And be able to be married off at 12, 13, 14.
They doing that out here.
And that's in our culture. And they're preserving it.
It is
44 states.
Legalized pedophilia is here in the United States, you guys. It is what it is.
Yeah. That's a fact.
That's a sexual preference, though. And pedophiles.
No.
Sexual pedophilia. Listen to what I'm saying.
What is your definition of pedophilia?
Is that the hill you want to die on, sir?
I don't know if you want to say that.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. And this
You
is
said
what
pedophilia is a preference or a sexuality? What did you say?
I'm saying, or no? So this is what I'll be talking about when you start opening up Pandora's box. If you listen to the podcast, then you already heard me talk about this, because when you open up Pandora's box, or when you start opening up the rabbit hole, right? That's what comes out, because what happens is you're celebrating a sexual preference. So what happened is, I talked about it before, is you got that community that's LGBT, right? They want to celebrate. But then the other people, they say, well, hold on, I got a sexual preference too. I like little kids. So it's really, when you look at it, that's their sexual preference. You don't like it, I don't like it. It's horrible, all that other shit. But it's their fucking sexual.
So are you equating to queer people to pedophiles? Because that's a big difference, sir. That's a big difference.
Look, why are you saying that I'm comparing queer people to pedophiles?
Because that's literally what you just did.
No.
You're basically saying you're opening up a gateway for us celebrating queer.
Don't get so emotional about it. I'm saying it's a sexual preference. Can you not see that? Can you see the logic?
Oh no, I'm blind. I forgot. I gotta go to my
you can
tone
see
test.
exactly what I'm saying. So then you understand what I'm saying.
I'm saying exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, because you were already justifying why we shouldn't celebrate.
They did it. They added it on the LGBTQ.
They did, and we had a problem with it. And we had an issue because we're not pedophiles.
It's still on there though. But it's still on there though.
It's not on there. So no. Don't put that on us. That's exactly what you're doing. You're shifting blame. You're shifting blame on celebrating being queer with the pedophiles trying to celebrate being pedophiles.
Because it's a sexual
Those are two different things. Those are two different things, though. Two different things. Two different. Can you see? Can you see these fingers? Two different things.
Why do you think they weren't born?
Two different things.
Why do you think that a pedophile wasn't born like that? What's different from you and a pedophile, and how he feels at a little?
Because I'm not into kids. I'm not into underage people.
Can I chime in?
I'm playing.
Actually,
I want to give a proper introduction to Miss Divine. We got Miss Divine in the building.
What's up? Greetings, everybody.
Hello, Miss Divine.
Please.
Can I say with the pedophilia, what L3 or Larry is trying to say is that they're not that was trying to be added on to. That wasn't a part of who they are collectively. That's all he's saying. He's basically saying he doesn't agree with pedophilia.
I understand that. Then most people that's in the LGBT don't. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a sexual preference. And once you start saying that you're celebrating a sexual preference, what gives you the right over another sexual preference?
So now I have to ask.
What gives you a right as a heterosexual to live your life normally, and I'm still getting bullied and harassed and beaten for being
murdered,
and murdered, and literally murdered?
Why do I deserve to be murdered?
I deserve to live in my
Hello?
truth as who I am.
So if I was,
unapologetically,
I wouldn't make the choice to go into that lifestyle if I was you.
I have to ask because
because I chose that. Because I chose getting beat every day by my fucking uncle. I chose that for myself. I wanted that. I wanted so badly to be oppressed and ostracized in society. I wanted that for myself. You're right. Because you're gay and you understand. You're right.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm Priestess Anissa Enyanwa. I'm sitting here with the pastor, and I would love to respond to that statement that was made about the pedophile in terms of, homosexuality.
I would also like to make a statement as well.
I think the difference for me is that you're saying that's a sexual preference. That's a sexual preference. And you're saying that, LGBTQ, that's their sexual preference. The difference is, and it's a huge one, it's a key one. This is a consenting relationship between adults. That one, that there is no consenting relationship. That is someone taking advantage of innocent children who cannot consent or who have not given consent to be in that type of relationship. That's a huge difference.
Okay, I'm gonna cut in here, you guys, because I feel like this is where these two things tie in together. Now, I self-identify as a queer person because my sexuality is fluid and my whole identity is just fluid, right? So that feels the most befitting to me. As a queer person, I'm also on the autism spectrum, so I'm disabled. I'm also a person of color. I'm also a woman. I fit into almost every single one of those marginalized groups. And if we look at them individually, I can say that why most people, neurotypical, straight, regular, and most of the time masculine, right? Those people in our human population feel that there are agendas being pushed. They are correct. And this is exactly where it ties in, right? There's these oligarchs, these one percenters, the powers that be, if you will, or I like to call them folks, the peoples. You feel me? When I'm at a peaceful protest and there are infiltrators who have their own agenda and they incite riots at my peaceful protest, that they are infiltrating the movement. Someone said, like, we just want to celebrate our voice.
She went out.
You lost her.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Got a good part too. That's how.
I know, I was getting into it.
All right. Hey. Come back in.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah. I'll message.
I wanted to hear what the pastors have to say.
I'm waiting to hear on the pastor.
So ultimately, for me, it just comes down to, and again, and Kareem, I hate to seem like I'm like picking on you and shit because again, the level of understanding that I think that you want, that I think that even everybody on this panel wants, or is looking for, is to come to some type of common ground, even if we agree to disagree about the level of lifestyles that people have chosen. Like they people are who they are. So I want to ask, because I know that one, because mind you, I watched your podcast show, so I'm just basing my questions upon that. Is there because I know you said the Pride Month, why is it celebrated? I think we kind of touched that. And again, like you can agree to disagree on that. That's absolutely fine. But was there any other questions that you may have that's still kind of like lingering to where there is either a misunderstanding or anything of that nature?
No, not really. I just feel like, other than just like feelings, I wasn't really presented with like any, because I think that the whole argument all comes down to, I was born like this, and I think everybody said that they had a feeling. You know what I'm saying? They just felt the type of way.
Oh, my bad. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, that would be the only thing is I would just I don't feel like I was really presented anything to argue.
Got you. Let me
Can I say
let me
something
ask
about L3 with that?
Oh yeah, real quick. I'm gonna wait till we come back in. I just want to ask a critical question. But you, Kareem, do you feel like you were born heterosexual?
I think I was born. When you say born heterosexual, I would say that I was born. I was just born, right? And then I would say that everybody has a choice. You see
Hold
what
on,
I'm
wait. Let me. All right, is you over there? Have you ever been attracted to a man, Kareem?
Absolutely not.
So you was born heterosexual.
Right. I'm hella comfortable like in my homosexuality, right, and being like masculine. You see what I'm saying? But
What
when
you
you
say?
ask,
Hey, hold on, wait.
Hello, can y'all
gonna let it slide, but you.
Let's not play like no funny.
I don't know
ass
if you heard what you just said, but
I could be disrespectful, and that's what that should have taken me to. But let's not like. I'm hella comfortable in my sexuality in being masculine. You feel me? So like I don't saying like as far as like, am I born heterosexual? I feel like I feel like that you are born the way that you are designed. So I don't think that.
Wait. So
we can rock with that. We can rock with that.
Your point.
Heterosexual is heterosexual. Like I say, it's a choice, right? It's a choice. So we all born, right? We all born. And we're born to design and function in a certain manner, right?
Okay, where does that design come from?
It comes from our creator, or whatever that you believe. Whether it come from, you could say it comes from natural selection, or it comes from the creator. Either way, we're designed with a purpose to have man and woman. So I don't think that's necessarily heterosexual.
Okay,
but why is it?
Wait. You
okay,
said
real quick, one. I'm just 2 seconds.
Go ahead, finish.
And I feel like the reason why I'm saying all of that instead of just saying, yeah, I was born heterosexual. The reason why I'm saying that is because I'm tying that into a choice as far as everybody has and no, I did not have any type of temptations myself or anything like that, but everybody has temptations. Everybody has these things that enter into the environment that make them make the choice of whether they should go into the natural realm of thing. And remember, I'm a tie-in consequence and confirmation again. You see what I'm saying? As far as the negative of those choices.
Okay, so again, you have the option right now to say that you like dudes.
Everybody got the option to do whatever they want to do.
But naturally, you don't like dudes.
Off top.
So you was born not to like dudes.
I was born I was born a regular straight man.
Okay. So regular is absolutely fine. Do you believe in polarity and duality?
But this is what you got to understand, Lamont.
Wait, Kareem.
Polarity and duality. When you say polarity and duality, explain exactly what you mean to me by saying that. What do you mean?
So do you think that opposites exist?
That is, the opposites would have to exist. There's definitely some opposites of things, but what do you mean by polarity and duality, though?
Does that have a cap to it, or is that all across the board?
That to every thing there's an opposite?
Yeah.
Yeah, that has a cap to it.
Okay, so give me a definition of one thing that's only one thing and is absent of the opposite of that.
One thing that's only one thing and it's God.
Is there a devil?
Yeah, there's a devil.
The hell? The fire that we're walking into, does it not exist? Because if it doesn't, then I shouldn't be afraid of it.
It does not have an opposite.
I told you, God.
The devil is not the opposite?
No, the devil is not the opposite of God. I don't know. The devil is not the opposite of God.
He's not?
That's what you're going to say right here on the podcast.
No,
use it against you.
Not that bad.
Is he kind of similar to God?
I see the level of how I'm trying to communicate with you ain't working, so I'm going to pass the mic.
I mean, yeah, I don't agree.
Did my mic cut out,
How
y'all?
do you know
You
what you are
did.
not?
We was waiting to hear you finish what you were saying. Actually,
Yeah, we hear you.
That's
Go ahead.
crazy. I was really going to,
you
and I
was going
wasn't.
in.
Miss
Like,
Divine, yes,
bro, that's what I'm trying
continue.
to tell y'all. The powers that
Continue.
be, they said, girl, be quiet. Oh my God, that's crazy. So, what did y'all hear?
Let's go into it. What did y'all hear? Let's go into it. Let's talk
I
about it.
forgot. I just was left with the
You were
raw
talking about the
emotion.
peaceful protest, the agitators and your peaceful,
Yes.
the agitators coming to your peaceful.
Yes.
And the
Okay.
agenda
Yes.
of
Thank
those people.
you, Crystal. Okay, so basically that's what I'm saying is the mainstream argument is that there's an agenda being pushed. But it's the same way that, you know, these police or the Klan, whatever you want to call them, they, like you said, agitate riots, they incite violence. So that way, those who are taking the main stage, which would be the oppressed or the marginalized, right? Just like BLM, just like you know, Stop Asian Hate with the queer community. All these people have a voice and they're like, look, y'all need to listen to me. And then here come this sneaky snake coming up like, yeah, and listen to this too. So it's intentional for there to be confusion. I do believe that there is an agenda being pushed. I can guarantee you the queers, it's not their agenda. The blacks, it's not their agenda. The disabled, the marginalized, these victims, the oppressed, the people who are standing up against injustice are not the ones committing this injustice, right? And that's why I'm saying it's kind of a both and situation. And I think the part where I got cut off is when I was saying, like, you know, this, I'll call it this same sex attraction, it's natural. And this is why I was agreeing when Kareem was saying it's the sin nature, or
Right.
like it's just in human nature to be sinful. That's how I understand what he was saying.
Right.
And I do agree with that on some level. I'm not very biblical or religious, but I do believe in, like what you guys were just talking about, polarity and duality. So, of course, there are going to be things that we do as a collective that are seen quote unquote bad and quote unquote. I don't think that one or the other is, you know, has a more or a lesser value as far as sin goes. If you sin, you sin. Y'all get what I'm saying? And
Yes,
Right.
because
so I,
is being
as
made of
a
what
queer
you
person, as a disabled person, as a woman, you know, I totally understand that it's my right to say what I want to say about me. I'm going to celebrate myself because there was a time where I couldn't do that. Even just 10 freaking years ago, I wasn't able to talk about myself out loud in the public the way that I can right now on this platform. So, I mean, what the fuck? Why not? Like, I'm going to speak out. I'm going to clap up for me when I see me. Representation is important, but we do have to be mindful and not just be naive and so, like, you know, peace and love to the people, to not see the darkness that is also surrounding that and preying upon us and taking advantage of us to push their agenda and let us go down for it. That's what I was trying to say. But you know, they didn't want to hear all that, so they had to cut my mic.
Speak then. Speak then.
Right. That's she said the truth.
Pastor,
And with that being
did you find
said,
that?
I do personally have an issue with sexuality being taught to young children. I don't, though, have an issue with anatomy and physiology and, you know, hygiene, reproductive health. I don't have an issue with that being taught to children of age, the children who are going to go through that, right? A young girl can get her menstrual cycle at the young age of 9. She didn't hit double digits yet, and now she has the responsibility of carrying a child. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So it is important to teach children about consent, to teach them about, you know, the anatomy of their body and how things function and how they work so they can be responsible. My oldest sister had a baby at 13. And I remember standing in the kitchen when we were talking about it, and she was like, yeah, I'm about to have a baby. And in my mind, I'm like, we're fucking babies. So I just didn't even understand how she could even be pregnant. That didn't even make sense to me, because to me, pregnancy was for grown women, not little girls. And so I personally feel like, you know, had we been educated, whether it be at school or at home, that probably would have been prevented. And then these statistics that Kareem is talking about, which are incredibly valid to this conversation, they would be less severe in like a, quote unquote negative form. But like I said, we all got to be privy to the fact that they're putting us against each other, whoever they is, right? Whatever you want to label them. Like I said, the peoples, the folks, they know what they doing. They've been doing this for millennia. That's why the Bible was also infiltrated and used to make us slaves, right? They just want to disconnect us from our source. And I think that's what a lot of queer people are saying. It's just like, it's kind of hippie, but I fuck with it. It's just like, yo, bruh, peace and love. Like, isn't that what Jesus was about? Peace and love, unconditionally, no matter what. Like, it's all good. You're my neighbor, and I love you for that. Just because you're here on the same earth as me, and we come from the same source that would love everything the same way that a mustard and a sparrow and a flower and me, we all have the same love of this creator. So I don't think that's a bad message or agenda. If it was one, that's what I consider to be the gay agenda, is love for everybody. But this pedophilia is being attached on. That's why they literally call it plus. Like, no, this ain't no Disney subscription, bro. This is my fucking life. Like, this is who I am. You feel me? You can't just plus any and all everything, and then it's gonna reflect badly on me. So, like most queer people don't take this perspective. Most straight neurotypical people don't take this perspective. I really do believe that it's a both and. There is a quote unquote dark or negative agenda, but as a queer lady, let me just tell you, it ain't us. Okay, we're not the ones doing that. We didn't sign off on that. They on some other shit. So I will land that plane and let y'all have the floor. Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. I have a question for everybody. If there's like one thing that you would want, like collectively, everybody to take away from tonight's discussion, what would it be?
I would love to meet King Kareem, and we go out and hang out and kick it and we get live. And I guarantee you, you will look at me as Crystal and not a fucking statistic, King.
No, I look at you like that now. I look at you like that now, and I got love for everybody and everybody on the panel, believe it or not. You know what I mean? And that's why I be preaching what I preach.
Where you located? You in Sac?
Yeah, I'm in South Sac.
I'm in South Sac too. Okay.
Uh-oh. We're going to have to set that
I
up.
got FOMO now. I can't wait to go home.
I can't wait to see you there.
When I get home, no, I'm taking all you out. I'm in Georgia right now, but I'm about to leave. I'm about to go home.
Okay, Georgia's beautiful too, though. Shout out Sac.
One thing that I would like to say, because we kind of grew up in that, and a lot of, Sienna definitely knows, we grew up, in our family, there was a lot of division just based off of our skin color, right? My mama got kicked out of the family because she had brown kids. It goes deeper than that, right? So we grew up, number one, with division. So we had to learn to go against division. So we had to learn how to see people for who they are, not the labels that are associated with them, right? I know L3 experienced it. L3, can I drop a little bit of background to you? Are you okay with that? Are you comfortable with that?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, yeah. That's my one takeaway. I just want you to know it wasn't a choice, because the prolific abuse I went through, I used to pray to God to change me, because I did not want to go through it, and I just wanted to be like everybody else. Like, that is my one takeaway. I did not ask to be this way. I learned to accept myself, but like, I went through a lot of physical and emotional abuse and humiliation and embarrassment over who I am, and I could not change. And I used to pray every day. Every day. I was devout through my teenage years because I wanted to change. And then I just learned to be happy with myself.
I do have to say that, L3 is my nephew by heart, right? And I love you. But L3 is also my child's dad's biological nephew. So I've known him since he was a boy. And to see the amount of torment that he actually went through throughout his life, simply because of his sexual preference, I'm sorry, getting kicked out of the family, being physically abused, emotionally abused, mentally abused, verbally abused, in a household. I can understand from a heartfelt level when he says that he did not choose to be this way. I mean, if you imagine somebody saying like, "Oh, you chose to be black, so now I'm going to put you in slavery," you know what I mean? So I understand completely. I seen what he went through, and I seen the great person that he has become to be. You know what I mean? So I don't look at his sexual preference. I don't look at his ethnicity. I look at him for who he is, and I know because of what he went through. If he was in the position to change his sexual preference to make everybody else happy, so that he wasn't enduring these physical beatings, you guys, and attacks, just for him. And you're laughing, and I know why you're laughing, and I love you, and my heart cries with you because I was there with you. I seen it. But if he could change these physical attacks and these verbal attacks, these mental and these emotional attacks from happening simply just by saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm not gay." I'm pretty sure that he would have chose that lifestyle instead of enduring what he had to endure. You know what I mean? We have to look at people for who they are and stop trying to make them fit our agenda and let them be their own agenda.
This is what I'll say about that. I absolutely agree with you. I said it on my podcast as well. It's unfortunate how that community does get targeted. I made it clear why I did my podcast, because we're in Pride Month and I feel how I feel. But I also said on that podcast, it's not fair how that community gets targeted, because I still feel like it's sin. But again, their sin is no more different from my sin, like Snack pointed out, fornicating or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just guilty. But because I am guilty of that doesn't mean that I have to be okay with everything else. I'm not even okay with fornicating. You see what I'm saying? It's just something that it's my sin nature. So, and I say that as in I'm not okay with fornicating. Like, so inside of me, I know that's not okay. So I'm kind of at turmoil with myself even as I'm doing that. You see what I'm saying? Unfortunately, again, homosexuals are pointed out because their sin is so apparent. I said that in my podcast. If you're a homosexual, sometimes you're walking around with the same sex, and then you get that discrimination, you get that opposition. You see what I'm saying? Because of how our society views it. Our society, when they see a liar, our society comes down on a liar, but as well. You see what I'm saying? You get talked about for being a liar. If you're a thief, you get talked about, and people disown you. They push you away. But we're actually more accepting of those things than we are homosexuality, right? But unfortunately, again, to wrap my point up, homosexuality is so apparent, and that's why it gets targeted. You see what I'm saying? Most of the time, if you're a liar and a thief, like, don't nobody know you the one that's lying and stealing. So it's not as easy to target you all the time. You see what I'm saying? Let me just wrap my point up.
No, that was a good point.
Right. I agree
That was
with
a
that.
good point.
In my own sins, right? In my own sins, I've been fighting with my own sins my whole life.
Absolutely.
And in sinning, I wanted to change that. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes I still fall victim to my sin nature, and I still sin.
But gay is not a sin.
But see, that's your viewpoint. I'm just giving you mine, and it was based on what he was saying. So that's how I view what he's saying. So
Right.
and I'm very empathetic of your situation, brother. Whoever treated you that way had no reason, and they shouldn't have treated you that way. But what I'm saying is that if my sin nature was something that people treated that way, I would get treated the same way. You see what I'm saying? But it doesn't necessarily mean that, to me, in my opinion, it doesn't necessarily mean that because that's my sin nature, I was born that way. I was born to be a fornicator. You see what I'm saying?
But not everybody's sin nature, you know what I mean, has to fall into what we think it might be. You know what I mean?
I understand that, right?
You know what I'm saying? One thing another thing that I do want to say, my sister, my firstborn down there, I remember, when my mom was sick, you guys, my mom came to live with me when she was getting discharged from the hospital. My sister called me and said, I think I'm going to come out to mom today. Me protecting the backlash that my mom was going to give her, I told her to please do not do it today. My sister never got the opportunity to tell my mom that she was gay before she died. That's something that I have to live with, and I have to hold that because I was trying to protect my sister and I was trying to protect my mom from having to do this right here, right? I have to hold that. That blood is on my hand. You know what I mean? And it could have just been an open dialogue like this, and her loving that is biologically her. You know what I mean? That's not my daughter. That is my mom's daughter. So my mom would have, by default or by design, had to have loved her regardless. You know what I mean? For who she is. I stood in the gap in that to protect her and to protect her because I didn't want them doing this. So my point in saying that is if we can do this more, people will be more understanding of one another. People will be more accepting of one another. People will be more loving and open of one another. Crystal and Ree up there, these two ladies, they're in my car club in Sacramento. Love them to absolute death. They are my only two friends who showed up to go to my mom's funeral. Out of all my friends, they're the only two that came that made sure that I was after that, checked on Lee after. Love them to death. After my mama loved them to death. They used to go out and do homeless meetings in the community with my mom without me. I wouldn't even be there and they would go and do those kind of things. So if we can learn to love people for actually who they are instead of what that we want them to be, and this is for everybody, you guys. I think that we will be able to be more productive as a society, more productive as just collectively. Whether trying to figure out if something is wrong or right? It might be wrong to us, it's right to them. Our lifestyle we might lead might not be right to them. They might say, you're promiscuous. I'm just gay, but you're sleeping with everybody. Everybody might have their own, you know what I mean, what's right and what's wrong. We have to start looking at people for who they actually are. That was all I wanted to say, you guys. And I appreciate everybody's perspective. I appreciate everybody taking time to come out. I know these two down here are military at the bottom and they're on the East Coast. So I know it's late for you guys. Crystal and Marie, I appreciate you guys. Kareem, Lovejoy, totally appreciate your guys' perspective. I love the dialogue, you guys. I think there's some understanding that has been understood, right, with us, but and we have to start to teach this in our communities, right? People have to be more understanding and accepting. And if we don't like something, guess what? We just don't like it, right? We still go to bed. Our paychecks are still getting signed. Our lights are still getting paid. We got food on the table. We don't have to like it.
Yeah. I just want to say real quick, and I probably have like a personal idea of what goes on when you're coming up, quote unquote, out of the norm and shit. But personally, L3, because I'm calling you L3 for the rest of it. Yeah. But to just get a small idea of what it is, to hear it, just, and I'm not saying that I've heard it, but you know what I mean, just to get like a small picture of what I heard of, of what you had to go through, just naturally being you, that's bananas. And I highly, because me personally, I'm always rooting for like the underdog and shit. It's just who I am, like, you know what I mean? So again, I would like to say, and all of you guys, and I just don't want to talk about L3. All of you guys, and I'm pretty sure at some point in time in your life, that there was an or there was something that, like some type of brick wall that had came up, and y'all just naturally trying to be. Like, you know what I mean? So I'd like to commend all of you guys on sticking to your guns and, just being who you are. And that even spills into you, Kareem, where you're just ultimately being who you are, even though you have a lot of people that is, trying to see where you're coming from. And we may have a misunderstanding of where you're coming from, but this is why we have this type of dialogue to understand. Like, if anything, that's all, you know, that we can do is attempt to understand.
Keep being, you know what I'm saying? I definitely commend y'all for just coming on here and expressing yourselves and sharing y'all stories, because that just gives an insight to the pictures. You know what I mean? Like, you can get the pictures, you can get all the billboards, and they could say all this stuff, but when you actually talk to somebody about it and actually get a glimpse into their life, it should change your perspective of how they trying to paint the pictures. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like y'all did a good job at doing that tonight. Like, you know, it was a lot of stuff that I heard angle wise that y'all was just hitting certain angles, and I'm like, whoa, this is deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't heard certain angles. So yeah, that was dope. And then and same for Kareem. You know what I mean? Like, he brought a different aspect, a different angle to the picture, and I feel like Captain Capricorn, you know, did a good job at coming up with the solutions, you know, explaining certain things that can be done in the community to try to help the people that's, you know, dealing with certain things. So all in all, like, I appreciate all y'all for coming through, for real. Saying
This was lit. I ain't gonna hold y'all. This was lit.
I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm like, my voice is getting ready to go up. I was reading the comments, you guys. There's so many different people on the panel, so many different things going on that a lot of people are accomplishing. Kareem, I know some people in the comments were asking for your YouTube channel.
Definitely.
So, you know, so they wanted to plug into that. I know my firstborn and Naomi have some projects going on that they wanted to kind of speak about, you guys. So these are the kind of things that we can, you know, come together as a community, come together as a people, drop this kind of knowledge so that we can collectively collaborate, right? So if we can give, you know, every opportunity to kind of drop what they have going on. Crystal Ree, I don't know what you guys got going on. L3, Love Joy, if you guys want to drop some stuff, some educational or whatever, I think that would help so that we can all tap into one another and, I mean, understanding knowledge from one another.
So I'm gonna start off. I got a book that I'm doing. It's all stick figures, and it's a coloring book. And all you gotta do is stay within the lines.
Yeah, but so like kind of like in conclusion, I appreciate everybody. You know what I mean, for coming on here. I did get some understanding. Trust me, like I you know, I love people, just period. But I do have strong viewpoints, and I'm not scared to say what I, you know, how I feel. You know, as far as, you know, I treat everybody, you know, equally, and I don't what do you call it, discriminate on anybody for any reason, anything like that. So I feel Captain Capricorn, as far as she was saying, you know, everybody just kind of like just need to figure out how to kind of get along. You know what I'm saying? Again, at first when this podcast came on, I didn't speak for a long time because it looked like everybody is on here to celebrate, you know, their relationship or they self, and I'm not against that in itself. You see what I'm saying? I made my podcast specifically asking, why are we celebrating the sexual preference, because that's how I view it. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't never come on here to, like, you know, say anything like against y'all until, you know, until my perspective is questioned. You see what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all for not, because I feel like for the most part y'all didn't take it like you know, just like I'm the enemy or something like that. I was just coming with my perspective, and I feel like what's crazy is I'm always this passionate when I talk about these type of subjects, because what I feel like is going on in my community is a passionate topic for me. And when I talk to people that's in the homosexual community, because like I was telling my ex-girlfriend, like her whole family was homosexual almost, and we used to have these conversations with her family, and I've had these conversations with my family, and when we have these conversations, they kind of end like this or a little bit better, and there's a lot of understanding. You know what I'm saying? At the end, even though I do have strong opinions and you know, and say what I say, and then a lot of times, even though it didn't happen today, but I feel like I get a lot of, to be honest, I be feeling like they be feeling a lot of the ways I feel. You know what I'm saying? Really, really within them, within they self. You know what I mean? And they relay that to me. So, like it's kind of like how Boosie said, Boosie said, he said, man, it's a whole lot of people feeling what I'm saying too. You know what I mean? Like, so even within the gay community, a lot of those people reach out to me and they say, man, you're right. But even within saying that, I just appreciate everybody. I hear what y'all saying, and
How could they find your podcast? Like, what's the name? You got a
the
link?
podcast is I think it's called Word of Mouth. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of really just posted it, just kind of
It's Word of Mouth TV.
Word of Mouth TV.
Yeah.
Word of Mouth TV. Okay.
Yeah. Word of Mouth TV. I'll post it on the link later on or something.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't feel super attacked because tonight, even though we were kind of, I guess, like debating, combative, with words, but like, no, you did make some good points tonight, and I want you to know, I don't take you as homophobic. Some of the things a lot of homophobic, like, regular people take as rhetoric, but like the fact that you came in here and can have open conversations, I truly appreciate. Like, I want you to know, like, I genuinely super respect you.
Thank you.
It's very commendable that you are even willing to sit on a panel with people who you
with like all queer people minus the host and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
really
no, you have my respect.
Thank you.
Yeah, again, I just want to say I commend you, man. Because just like you said, you may be speaking for, because this subject is so touchy and it's so sensitive. And when I was watching your podcast, it was just like you may have, because you was bringing up statistics, and I'm like, man, if you would have had somebody to converse with, and the thing that your podcast would have a little different, because then you could get a question and you could get an answer, and then the understanding would have had an opportunity to be there. Again, even if you agree to disagree, the voice of the people who are in that community would have been able to speak. But again, just to bring it back, I commend you for even speaking your stance, like, you know what I mean, because it has people engaging and giving that understanding. So yeah, good, you solid. I was gonna be mad at you like a motherfucker if you didn't show up to the podcast. Back and I tagged him. I'm like, no, I'm tagging this nigga. Fuck that.
No, I wasn't at first because I said, nah, they gonna be on there calling me a homophobe.
Hey, when I see you tagged him, I was like, oh, snap.
Yeah, I had to go back and tag him. I was like, nigga, pull up.
Right.
Crystal and Ree, I love you guys. I cannot wait.
Love you too.
I have been in Sacramento a few times and I have not stopped by. I totally apologize, but I'm coming through. I am coming through. Hold down the Parkland. The people in the chat love you. I keep seeing comments about how they love seeing both Crystal and Ree, and they're hoping that you'll come back, at a certain point.
All you guys got to come back.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in here.
Yeah.
No
You guys have any projects or anything going on that you want to do, like a selfless, or what is it called, a shameless plug?
Shameless plug.
We have our church. If everybody's welcome. Green, you're welcome. Everyone's welcome. Integrated Praise Spiritual Center. Where we're located, man. You know.
That sounds dope. You're definitely gonna have to check that out.
43 Marconi Avenue.
We have service on Sunday at 2:00. We're in the afternoon. So if you guys are interested, we would love to have you. Every first Sunday, we have communion. We sit down and eat together. We are all a family. So we sit down every Sunday and have that old school back home church, have a meal. We eat together. And we have conversations just like we had right here, talking about all kinds of stuff. So you guys
all I want to know is who made the potato salad. Who does the potato salad profit? No, I'm just playing.
Hey, you ate my wife's cooking, you know. We feed the soul.
That's right. L3, my little military, calling on them in the military too. Do you have any projects going on?
Stop.
I know you're
no, but and we definitely need to thank the chat. Like Miss Empress Divine, thank you for giving your side. Thank you, Miss Michelle, for inputting. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. I don't see you on her right now, but and also I have to do a quick I'm sorry to the person that I offended. It was meant in a positive light. I just saw you fighting so hard for our point of view, and it was kind of falling on deaf ears. It seemed like, but like, I wasn't like just trying to out you. I was just like telling you didn't have to fight so hard because it is weird. But like, I totally respect and appreciate you for trying. I don't remember their names, so I can't really say right.
I'm sorry, Karmic Fruition. That's it.
Yes, yes,
hard in the
her.
comments.
Yes.
We saw that.
She was fighting so hard. I was like, you don't have to do that for us. It's okay. Like, it's not getting anywhere, but I appreciate you.
Though.
Yeah.
So you're discharging. You're leaving Georgia, and then you're coming back to Cali. Are you going back to Cali?
I sold my house, and I'm in the process of about to buy a Jeep, and then I'm gonna come over. Sienna and Nomi, I'm actually visiting you first. I hope you know that. Once I get my Jeep, I'm driving up there. 5 hours is nothing.
Definitely
no,
know when you're back on the West Coast. For sure.
Oh yeah, I'm taking you both out. I will also take you out, Miss Crystal and Miss Reed, and even you. I'm Selfmade. If you guys are in South Sac, I will sit you guys all down for a lunch, a good dinner, and it's on me. Genuinely, thank you so much.
Right.
I'm with it.
Reach out. Lala got all our contact information, so she could be the plug to link us all together.
For sure.
Definitely.
Yes. Oh, and thank you, Miss Royal, in the chat.
We have a pool at our house.
I appreciated your comments.
Okay. It's hot too, for sure.
That's what I said. It is hot for sure.
There it is. Pool party over here.
I wanted to save first. Well, we gotta like video too, and then I wanted to drop Sienna.
Well, no, because we could plug Selfmade in at the end when we close out.
My baby sis and Naomi have some. They have a few projects going on. You guys talk to them a little bit of time to say what they have going on as well at the end, because they need isolated time, I think, right?
Yeah, whenever they're ready. Y'all can plug y'all right now. Y'all good.
Yeah, baby.
Oh. I'm Nomi, of course, but I guess I have a couple things going on. So just to give like a more deeper like introduction of like who I am. My name's Naomi, and like that sounds like corny, but
hi Naomi.
Hi Naomi. Head ass. I'm a humanitarian. I make music and I write literature, and I do that all because I feel like we have to come together. Like someone said it earlier in the chat about the separation, how big that was. I feel like we need to be kinder, more compassionate, come together, start, working on our trauma, those ingrown ass like karmic chains that like have suppressed us over, like she said earlier as well, millennia at this point. So my whole purpose is just like bringing a dialogue to the pain, more positive like mental health dialogues as well. And that's what I reflect through my music and my art and my literature, my poetry and everything like that. Me and my sister currently run a nonprofit together. My grandma was a pastor and she did a lot of missionary work in Africa, and she ended up staying in Mozambique, building this orphanage. And I was able to, start going out there and like be a part of that movement as well. So after she passed, me and my sister really like started like putting our head together and like figuring out how we can like make the legacy continue. What she built does not have to die with her, and it will not. So basically we have a nonprofit that we built, which is basically an ecosystem of different programs and services. And how it works is like basically some of our programs and services are an optical program called Nuoja, which anytime you go onto our site, we all create. I make my music, I make t-shirt designs, different things like that. I write my books, so my books are published under this foundation. My music is under the foundation. My t-shirt designs are, as well as my sister and everything she does. So basically we make our art, we put it on our site, and it's like a creative way of donating. So you go in there and under the different programs, our optical program, every time you buy a t-shirt, every $5 that we get from you guys, we can put a prescription pair of glasses on somebody in Folk, which is where we're from, we're Cape Verdean. We also have another program that provides free book publishing to anybody of Cape Verdean descent, and we're all inclusive. So anybody that submits their work to us, like, you get published, and we do that through you guys buying shirts from us, guys buying our books, you guys, and so it's like, here's our art, here's these things we've created, and this ecosystem of different programs and services that the money can now go into, as well as like a mental health health and wellness aid that we have. We have like a couple pages, but it's called the Foundation for Fogu, and your money goes straight, like, so you're not just donating, like you're getting something in return. You get to wear this dope shirt we spent our time on. You get to listen to this music. You get to read this book and we also just released kind of like a Soup for the Soul book, which includes about like 20 to 30 different Cape Verdean authors, men, women, and non-binary identifying authors, and different poetry, literally so many different mindsets. We put it all in one book, and we are releasing that on June 22nd. But you can pre-save it on the Foundation for Folks site, which is I can have Laura send y'all the link and stuff. But that's basically what I'm doing, just making my music and making my art and building this nonprofit. And we eventually want to raise enough money after fulfilling these different stage programs that we've curated. And if you go to the site, you'll see more about it. But we eventually want our own art-based therapy centers where we can be in these communities and we can provide the things we need, like the healthcare and the different outreach programs, the crisis prevention planning. I went to the therapist a couple months ago trying to just talk to somebody. It was like $220 just for an intake. No, hell no. When we're people, we're all humans, and we all have these different these different biological makeups. So why don't we just come together and create a better way to help each other? If you're good, then I'm good, and he's good, and then we're good. So now we make the system work, and we're all good, and we're not greeding for things. We're not wanting for the things that we're not fulfilling, because we're fulfilling ourselves, and we're fulfilling our friend, and we're holding people up when they're down, and then giving, reciprocating and proceeding forth into that. And that's how we slowly just try to change the world, so our kids and our kids' kids have a better chance, more happiness and kindness all around. So I'll have Laura send you all this stuff, but that's basically what I do. And my music, literally, that's something that's really for me, because if anybody
on
wants
everything,
out
on
on all
Apple
platforms.
Music, Hey
I
No
was gonna
Me.
say, where can they find you?
Drop that. I'm gonna have to go check that out.
My name's Nomi with a K, kind of just like it's spelled right here.
Okay.
I just released 2 singles this past month during Gemini season.
So I listen to them both. I listen to both of them.
You like it? Thank you.
Yeah.
We can't see it. You gotta drop it.
Drop it in the chat.
I'll drop it in the chat. But it's Nomi, and it's So Cold, and the other song is called Butterflies, and it's on all platforms. I'm actually trying to start a butterfly challenge where people use the Nomi Butterflies song on TikTok and stuff, and kind of creating a little compilation for the sound. So I've kind of been pushing that too, as well as my nonprofit just got in the parade this weekend, Saturday morning, walking in a parade for Juneteenth. So we're really getting out there, and we're making movements. So I've just been really happy and in my element, and I'm so excited to have opportunities like this to sit down in front of such like-minded people, and also different people with different perspectives. We need more of this integration in our community and in the whole world, all the communities. God damn it! So it's amazing, and I feel like my life's just on the right path right now, because I feel like my angels is putting the right people into my life. So I definitely appreciate you guys, and I hope we can all link up and talk. And if we in SAC, we can all go out to lunch. I love that. I love good people. Good
No,
stories.
yeah, no. As soon as I get to Sacramento, I'm treating
everybody out here.
Okay, bet. Also, Selfmade. Your song in the beginning, I gotta look that up and listen to that every morning. That shit, I love it. You said the first 3 lines. I was like, hold up. Oh shit. I was like, I love it. I was doing something. I was like, hold up. I love that. So thank you for sharing that. I gotta look that up and put it on my playlist for sure.
Sorry, likewise. I'm about to look you up. I wrote you down, so I'm gonna check you out for sure.
Right, thank you. I appreciate
everything that you got going is so dope. I dropped all the links in the chat. I'm gonna check it out myself. And hope everybody else that's watching checks that out for sure.
We already did. I already got you.
All right. Yeah. Look, they already on it.
Firstborn, what you got going on? I know you got some projects going on.
I'm Sienna. I'm going by Captain Capricorn. It is an idiom. As a Capricorn, if you know a Capricorn in your life, you may know that we're highly intuitive. It's not really in our nature to be liars, to cap, basically. So it's basically an idiom and a play on play of words and saying Captain Capricorn. But we're gonna tell you how it is, honestly, whether you want to hear it or not, and that can be a downfall sometimes if you know a Capricorn. Currently, I am on YouTube, making my own blogs, my own videos. I do tarot readings. I'm getting more into my spiritual journey. I did read once that as Capricorn, you may have picked up something to do spiritually or been intuitive into knowing that you are powerful in your spiritual power and that you may have set it down and it comes back around over and over again to the point where you can't help but face the fact that this is something you are meant to do. So that's really what I'm working on. If you guys want to follow along on that journey, I would love that. You can follow me on all my socials at Captain Capricorn. That's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, anything you want to look on. I'm all about spiritual love, healing, mental awareness, and just us bettering ourselves and growing ourselves so we can be our higher power. We can look to something and we can find that in ourselves and as well bring that around to other people so we can continue to uplift each other. I'm currently working on a couple of photo shoot ideas. My big sis is going to participate in that, and that's about body positivity and self-love. Larry, I'd also love to photograph you for that. So just stay tuned for all of these, content that we're about to be putting out. It's just honestly dope, and I'm so glad to have been able to hear y'all's perspective on everything we talked about tonight. You all are beautiful people. Lawan, Selfmade, I super, super appreciate you. Big ups to y'all for putting this platform out there to speak about queerness in our Black community. Yeah. That is a huge step towards the progress that we are making. So I really appreciate y'all for having us on here and listening to what we have to say and giving us that space that we deserve and recognizing that. And y'all are dope as hell for that, for real.
If you need a bald head
really
model,
appreciate y'all for real.
Yes, I would love you two would be so perfect behind a lens. Please, please, please. That Black love, that Black queer love. I need that in my life. I need that all over my pages everywhere. You guys are inspiring to us young ones who you guys didn't even have the opportunity to experience what is being happening in the world for young queer Black women. Y'all didn't get to experience that. Y'all paved the road, and we're paying our respects to you in these ways. Definitely. Seeing us being able to share our love openly and largely as we are is so fulfilling in your heart. So really appreciate that too.
I just been getting ladies.
What you say?
Miss Royal,
I was about to say, bro, I'm
drop your
feeling
IG.
all this emotion and shit.
Miss
What's
Royal,
going
drop your
on the
IG.
damn show, man?
I'm in awe of you.
Yeah, I know y'all used to yelling at each other, but sometimes we gotta bring the love back into it.
I appreciate it. I really do. Like for real, it's like
don't get it twisted. I'm a being here. I like to debate. Ask Laura. Laura knows me and her begin to heated debates. I'm here for it. I love it. I'm hard-headed as fuck.
How often you have your podcast?
Absolutely.
How often y'all have your podcast?
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday?
Every Thursday, 6:30. Yep.
We in here. We
be having open topics, religion, all across the spectrum. You know
everything I love to talk about.
Free your mind.
Exactly.
Y'all are
and Lala, I love you. Your mama knew her daughter was gay. Let me tell you that.
I was gonna say that too.
Mamas know.
That's a fact.
Mamas know.
So
you don't have to. You don't have to carry
that.
Your mama know. You don't have to carry that, Lala. She knew. She knew.
Mom knew, you knew, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Thank you guys. I definitely appreciate the love. I'm connected to all you guys on the panel and, a physical, you know what I mean? A level of outside of podcast connection. So thank you guys for coming through and sharing your stuff. Sienna, drop your stuff so that people know how to find you. Super, super appreciate you. Nephew, I see you. I can't wait to see you. I haven't seen you in years. But big shout out. That boy went to the military and did the military right. He did the military. They did not do him. And he's coming to
Period, man. The guy out with his life for real.
It took 6 years, but I got it.
But that's all I have to say, you guys. Definitely appreciate it. Appreciate the energy. Appreciate everything. Much love.
All love. All love.
Much love to y'all. Appreciate y'all. Till next time. Till the next
love,
time.
yeah.
Till next time. I'll be tuning in.
Yeah, definitely. Thursday, 6:30.
You will be too.
Yeah.
We in here. You got us. You're not gonna get rid of this.
Yeah.
You didn't set your
Right,
mind.
right.
Hey, coming in, hey.
We about to have the craziest conversations up here.
Hey, yeah, let's get it in. Y'all on the frequency. We gonna turn up for sure.
All right.
All right,
Have a
y'all.
great night.
All right, y'all. Enjoy the night. Peace.
Yeah, have a blessed one.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Could have hooked the wrong one.
Hey, yo, Leo.
Hey, yo. Hey, I ain't even gonna hold you. At the end, like you said, I was getting emotional. I'm like, man, like
Hey, that shit.
man, this shit was deep, man. This shit was definitely deep, bro.
That shit took me
it
on a
touched a
roller
certain
coaster.
spot.
Yeah,
Yeah, bro, for reals.
man.
You could relate in different ways as far as just being held back and not being able to fully express yourself, and you know what I mean, in so many different ways. So yeah, man, like you can see it across the board. You can see it across the board.
Yeah, I think everybody, regardless to what type of lifestyle, just life in general, everybody has that underdog victory story. Like, you know what I mean? So when it comes down to that level of understanding, I don't like to pigeonhole it to just one thing.
Exactly.
You have came from, one spot to the next, be it, not expressing yourself or not being able to without judgment. And then, man, we got to celebrate that, man.
Yeah, exactly.
We got to put the stamp on that, man. We got to be like, hey, you want to know what? Fuck all y'all.
Exactly. Hey, that's really what it is on everything.
That's what it comes down to.
That's what it is.
Like, man, it's just like a level of, yeah, it was cool, but
fuck what y'all talking about.
I think that, again, man, because we're in a different time, so the times is coming to, you know what I mean? It's, hey, everything is up. What's not up right now?
Man.
You know what I mean? It's just like, shit.
Like you had said, there's so much stuff that out here right now that people are into.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That may be deemed crazy as hell to certain people, but it's like, hey, they like, as long as they ain't harming children, and you know what I'm saying? It's like, if that's what they choose to do, that's what they choose to do.
That's a fact.
You can't knock nobody for that.
Yeah,
you know? And I think it's the people that stuck in them boxes. You know, they be in the box and they be looking at everybody else like, how the hell you get out your box? Nigga, what's going on over here? Nigga? You know what I'm saying? How you get out, bro? What you doing over there, nigga? You know what I'm saying? So they mad, bro. They mad because they still stuck in the box. Everybody else out doing what they want to do and shit, chilling. They ain't worried about nothing. And they still binded by all these constraints and rules that they choose to hold on to themselves and shit.
That brought me to like a Jack in the Box.
You gotta wind out, man. Hey, but not, hey, that was so much of a bar because, again, people, the level of misunderstanding, and I hate to say it like this, excuse me if I'm wrong, but the level of misunderstanding that people have within themselves, they throw that on other people, and it's just like, nigga, just like you said, like, fuck, you get up, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm over here winning, my nigga. I'm sorry, excuse me, but I'm winning right now. So,
right.
And when we have these level of conversations, you got to do it with a smile. You know what I mean? Like, you have to do it. You got to be. You got to celebrate Pride Month. You have to celebrate in order for people to be like, hey, you want to know what? Hey, them niggas over there, they winning.
They lit.
How can I win? Be your goddamn.
They mad and shit. That's what it is. They mad and they happy. Like, and you mad that they happy and shit. Like, damn.
They got mad. Like, what are you mad for?
Again, man, we all trying to figure out ourselves. We all trying to figure out life, and we all trying to, step outside of ourselves to come into ourselves. But just in that aspect, man, I think that all victories, the smallest victory, should be celebrated. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
All
that's a fact.
should be celebrated. You know what I mean? So just coming from one day to the next, man, it's just hard enough, you know, just trying to live, period. So anytime we get that W, man, there ain't nothing wrong with champagne bottler. You know what I mean? Just
yeah.
I mean,
Small W is a W. You know what I mean? It don't matter how big the W, man. It's a W.
Celebrate that W, man, and there's nothing wrong with that. People would, you know, again, try to make it seem like something shouldn't be celebrated, but man, look. Every time we have a show, niggas like, well, why do you do it? Because we're
celebration, man.
Celebration, man. Every time I'm gonna pop a bottle, it's up.
Yeah, that's real.
Miss Royal, for your comments in the comment section. I see you. Thank you for the support. Definitely. I see you on
always rocking.
So definitely, thank you for coming all the time as well. You guys, I am out. Thank you again for having this platform. Thank you for having the openness to have people come onto the platform. And thank you for allowing people to educate and express themselves. You guys always big salute on that.
Yeah, nah, definitely. It's and again, man, you know, just the understanding, just to free your mind. So the understanding is, you know, kind of like what it's geared towards. And it's self-made. And I think you can attest to that, like, you know, because a lot of people would come in with a misunderstanding at the beginning, and then at the end, and then it'd be like, all right, yeah, that understanding come. Everybody, they go home, how they go home, and it's right off into the sunset. It's
right. Yeah, for real.
But with that being said, man, hey, people was feeling that video. So if you do not mind,
I'll run it back real quick on the outro. Yeah. right. It's all good, man. This is another one. Free Your Mind podcast in the books.
Right.
Peace to the chat. Shout out to y'all. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, share it with a friend. Get it out there, push it out there. Yeah, man.
It's up.
It's up. Peace. Look, universal, tryna meditate. Downloading this black matter through non-ether. Condensing that energy, alchemizing my frequency. See if you don't open your mind to your head to break. I don't fuck with molasses, cause I don't sugarcoat. Baphomet is my lil homie, cause I'm a bigger goat. I'm clean with the bars, you would think that I'm selling soap. They think that change only happen when a nigga vote. I'ma keep on shining this light, cause I see I give them hope. Riding primordial waves on a galactic boat. I'm charging up, frequency rising, I'm gaining volts. I say I'm God, now people thinking that I'm in a coat. The cyclops will make your mind pop. My energy's magnetic pull can make the time stop. I'm on their head, elevating like a high top. Eating good, plant-based, so free the lifestyle. I swear to God, it's that Fibonacci flow. It's that fire soul flame, hit 'em, drop and roll. Seeing through the veil in plain sight, they hide the codes. I'm on that fuck the system shit and they can't stop the show. Manipulating that energy, I've been shifting. Gotta close your eyes and listen to your intuition. Elevating with Mother Nature, she been assisting. Channeling these thoughts, I really been like I went fishing. Oh wow, it's going down, yeah, you know what's up. I'm a slim nigga, but my mind, I got it swole as fuck. Don't hold him down, we ain't drowning niggas, I hold him up. Synchronizing the light within me, I hope you get in touch. Yeah, this ain't no side. Speaking the truth, vibration never lie. I know I'm a guy, yeah, this ain't no side. Speaking the truth, vibration never lie. I know I'm a guy, yeah, this ain't no side.
Just that God shit, align it with your conscience. I don't do nonsense, I ain't got time for it. I keep my mind soaring, a different type of light source. Change your mindset, yeah, that's that mind flip. Light switch going off and then we time shift. Dimension traveling, no, I'm a different kind, yeah. Okay, get up on tempo, life so simple. Chasing the info, ride with kinfolk to the stove. If it's a problem, I got the knowledge with the extendo. Just keep it 100, I don't play games, this ain't Nintendo, okay. I got a lot to say and I'ma say it to your face. We talking about real freedom, I don't care about your J's. Get up on this vibration, this is a different type of rain. Too much hating in this world, they just trying to separate. I'm just trying to build, I'm just trying to relate. Make some changes, don't get stuck in your ways. Tapped into the water and its memory. Flowing with the wave like O's give me energy. Sometimes you gotta rock solo to gain that inner peace. Protect your energy, a lot of people be trying to leech. I know I'm a god, yeah, this ain't no side. Speaking the truth, vibration never lie. I know I'm a god, yeah, this ain't no side. Speaking the truth, vibration never lie.